everybody. Good to see you, Pop Culture Curator here. I know we're running a few minutes behind. If we're to that, I apologize. But we'll get the ball on, or the show on the road, as they say, or the ball rolling. Wanted to say hello. I know some of you guys showed up early in the chat, and I really appreciate that. I wanted to say hello, and I will be addressing and saying hello to everybody individually, like I normally do. That's one of the points of my channel, is to not ignore the chat and try to read every one of them and try to address as many as I can. And I'd like to thank my esteemed fellow panelists, Gorillas Random Thoughts. How are you doing today?
Doing all right. Just had to go sit through a long popcorn meeting on how to sell popcorn. Yay.
Sell popcorn? You're going to sell popcorn?
Oh, my kid is.
How does that work? You mean like raw or door-to-door, already cooked? Or?
Well, it's for the Cub Scouts.
Yeah, but I mean, what kind of popcorn?
Well, they got different ones like caramel flavor, butter flavor, then bags of popcorn, then cheesy popcorns.
Oh, I see. So it's already cooked, like in bags.
Some of it is, but there is some unpopped stuff.
Okay, well, that's cool. Well, good luck with that, huh? Hopefully he'll do well.
Yeah.
I'll teach hello to you, Jill.
Hello
How are
there.
you doing?
Hey.
Yeah, I'd like to say welcome to Antiderivative Jill, who just, I know she just recently passed the 500 mark, but didn't you do that once before?
Yeah, I did. I did it just yesterday.
Yesterday. I'm sorry, I was a little late then. So yesterday, thank you.
I did it. Well, actually, what happened was I was on Mr. Brown Alliance's stream, and I was at 474, and he got me all the way to 535. But YouTube saw my growth going so fast, they were like, "Oh, this can't be real." So they kept the people. Apparently, what happens is they kept the people subscribed, but they took away my subscriber count in order to double check that everybody's real.
And of course, even though it's double checking, you won't see them again, will you?
No, yeah, I will. They're coming back. I got past 506, not quite up to 530 yet, but I'm okay with that. I'm happy to get to 500.
Yeah, but shame on YouTube for doing that. You work hard for those.
I did. Well, and these are thanks to being on Brown's channel, but I still count them anyway, so I'm really happy.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations.
Are you going to
have... Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. I've heard his name before from Captain Infinity, so I'm kind of aware of who he is, but I don't think I've met him or spoke to him personally on a panel or anything.
Right. Well, he has a really fun news type related show, and pop culture related, and it's really cool. The first time I went on his show was for Star Trek 3, and so it was really easy for me to go on there and relax and have a good time. But this one was for just regular pop culture stuff, so I was a little bit more nervous, but I think I did pretty well.
I'm sure you did, and if it's pop culture, I'm sure it was fun.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Are you going to have a 500 sub celebration?
Yes, on Friday.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. I will try to be there. I don't have any appointments scheduled that I know of. What's the topic for Friday? Besides the 500
none.
Sub?
That's just it. Whenever it's a milestone, it's just a party. But I'll probably bring a few topics.
No, that's always good. Then I'll stop by. Yeah, I know sometimes when it's something I'm not familiar with, like UFO, because I haven't watched UFO yet. I downloaded it, but I obtained it, but I haven't watched it yet. So if people talk about things I'm not familiar with, I usually don't butt into the conversation.
Well, it'll be like a shore leave stream, so you can bring. It's like show and tell.
Okay, sounds good. I'll try not to scare anybody.
Okay.
And I wanted to say hello to the chat. Like I said, some people have been here a while. And it looks like first up at Basil Battle Dragon. Hi, guys. Hello, Basil. So good to see you. I'm glad you all could be here tonight. And looks like we have Jim's Landscape. And Jim says hello. And my good friend, Mad Scientist, says hi, all. Hello, Mad Scientist. Glad you could make it with us tonight. Oops, don't need to read my own text. And, by the way, everybody, hush up, Pooch. Not right now. Sorry about that, guys. I got an audience. Anyway, I was running a little late, so I didn't. It's not that I forgot the poll. I'll put that up during the stream here. The poll for this episode. I had to kind of deal with some things at home, but I will get that up. But thanks to Gorilla for helping me post the link in the on Twitter. I just want to give him credit where credit is due. And hello, Suzette. Good to see you. Suzanne says hello, Pop. And Suzanne, I added. I'm gonna kill you guys. Will you hush up? I just fed them as usual, so apologize, everybody. Um, hold on just a moment. I'm gonna tend to the situation. I'll be right back.
All right. Well, yeah, Nemesis Eden says, congrats, Jill. That's a heck of an achievement.
Oh,
Thank you so much, Nemesis. I know
here,
I'm going out of order. Where are we, Gorilla?
Oh, here we are, PvP.
Hello.
Hey, PvP.
Hi, guys. Sorry I'm a
What?
bit late tonight.
Hello.
Hi. Hi, guys.
Where are
Hi,
we in the
Gorilla. Hi,
chat?
Paul. Hi, Joe. What?
Yeah, let's see. Suzanne says, Basil, hello. Matt Sactus, hello. Jim, hello. Suzanne, hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
And she's starting to put everybody's links in the channel. Some gal
Thank you,
named Jill says
Suzanne.
hi.
Hi,
Thank
Bob.
you, Suzanne. And I was gonna say, Suzanne, I added the link to your fundraiser in the Stream Elements bot, and I also repaired or corrected the links for Scogli and Nemesis of Eden. So as a reminder, everybody, if there's any links that you guys see in my Stream Elements bot that are not working, let me know. Or if you'd like me to add your link because it's not already there, also let me know. Sorry, go ahead. You can
Yeah,
resume.
here's Jim's Yogurt's puppy video. That was kind of humorous, I'll tell you that. Then he's saying hi. And welcome, Scurvy. Welcome, welcome.
Hello, Lemon Pie. Good to see you.
Yeah, saying hi.
People are saying hello. Very cool.
Scurvy's throwing some hail now. Now we just want to know what size hail. Oh, Jim's throwing it back. They're both throwing hail at each other.
Calm down, guys. Now.
Then I'm doing all right. Their Nemesis. He's saying hail, Pop, Jill.
All right, Nemesis of Eden. Good.
Yeah.
You heard what I just said. So glad to see you, Nemesis. I'm excited for tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Hello, Nemesis.
Hi, Nemesis.
PvP is always flying around. And hello back to you, Suzanne.
Absolutely. It's so great to have Suzanne here.
And hail to Jim there. And Scurvy saying hi to all of us.
Very
and
cool.
Herc says my favorite suspects.
Oh, yes. Just don't tell anybody.
Nemesis says hey there, and hey there's Nemesis. I think we're getting. Oh, Pop, you're over 600 now.
Yeah,
I
really
really
got
got-
Jill was saying earlier. I was like, what? I'm like, oh, right.
Yeah, congrats
Yeah.
to both of you. Now I really do got a lot of work to do now.
I don't know
Yeah,
what
I was-
happened. I mean, honestly, guys, I don't know what happened, but it was like maybe a week or week and a half ago. It was just like, boom, it changed, and suddenly they just started skyrocketing, and I don't know what I did differently. It just,
And it hasn't
Honestly, I don't
stopped
know.
yet.
I-
It's not
I
finished.
think I think someone shared out your TOS thing, and it got a lot of views, and then that triggered the algorithm to promote it.
yeah, because the views of my TOS bloopers, which I share clips of on Jill's channel, that really went really high. It's like the last I checked, it was like 125,000 or something. It's like, oh, that's incredible. I've had it up for
Wow.
7 months. It says 7 months old, but something happened and just boom. Suddenly, I'm getting a lot of people are commenting, which is great. I'm getting a lot of thumbs up or whatever that's called.
So
that's
you get
like
to join the 100K view club.
that went
Yes.
viral then, basically, that video.
It did.
I'm not sure what the
Wow.
number
Pretty cool.
is. I'm not sure what the number is adjusted by viral, but I'm happy.
I just want to
Yeah, that's viral.
I want to congratulate you, Pop and Jill, both of you, on the success you've had lately with your channels skyrocketing like they have. It's really cool.
It is. Now we need to do the same for everybody.
Well, you guys deserve it. I mean, you put a lot of time and effort into both of your channels, so you definitely deserve to get the numbers, climbing, right? So, yeah, good stuff.
Well, thank you, and I am willing to help. Whatever I did, right? I'm willing to help anybody else if I figure out what I did. Maybe I should talk to LDG. He knows all that stuff, right?
Mm.
Yeah, someone had to have shared it out there if it just suddenly took off. Someone bigger shared it out that was
That's what I was
interested.
thinking. Yeah, I was thinking it had to be somebody with a lot of subs or something, right?
Yeah.
Could be, yeah.
I did get what's interesting is I got I believe it was yesterday or was it this morning? My memory is like screwed up. But anyway, one of the comments I got, they said, how did you manage to post this? I posted these bloopers and I was immediately copyright stricken. And I replied back, I said, I don't know. I'm sorry to hear that, but it doesn't make sense because they are definitely not copyrighted. So I know why mine has not been stricken. I just don't know why that certain person's was stricken.
It might have been. It might have been where they got the bloopers.
Oh, well, I
From.
thought wouldn't it have to have a watermark or some way for them to know? I don't know.
It might have been the source of how they obtained it.
That's what I'm saying. But did you like if I put a video up? Did YouTube know where I got it? Unless it's copyrighted, I don't. Honestly, I don't know.
The watermark is in the code of the video.
Oh, okay. Well, then that would make some sense. Then. Well, then, okay. Thank you for explaining that, Gorilla, because I didn't.
LGG can walk you through the whole thing because I've watched him sit there and delete watermarks off of photos and stuff.
Or definitely. There's one person that could do that. It's LDG, right? Shout out to LDG, everybody. LDG of Geeks Enjoy. I think that maybe you'll see it in this Stream Element spot, and do check out his channel. The guy is. I'm not kidding, and I'm understating when I say he's a genius.
Yeah, and Herc says, "Hello, Jill. I need to send you an audition tape for a sidekick job." LOL.
Hello, Herc.
And says, "Oh, okay." And Nemesis says, "Congratulations, Jill. That's a heck of an achievement."
She deserves it. It needs to go up and not down, right? Darn YouTube. Go ahead.
And Nemesis is thanking Suzanne for the link drop. Don't forget to help Suzanne out if you guys can.
Thank you, Nemesis. Absolutely, everybody. Suzanne is very sweet. She's a single grandmother taking care of her grandson, so she needs all the help she can get.
Yeah.
My pleasure, Suzanne.
Yeah, she's saying thank you to Pop. I guess he's thanking for the one I said about his video there. And then Cody Guy, welcome, Cody.
Hello, Cody. Good to see you there. Thank you for helping us out with those links there, Suzanne.
And Aodelica.
Boy, that's quite a mouthful. Let me see if I'm going to have to zoom in and look. Hello, AO Daylight. Come on in. Come and me wanna go. Good to see you and welcome to the chat. I think this might be your first time here. And if it is, you're so welcome and I hope you enjoy yourself tonight.
All right. I'm glad you took a shout out. I wanted to make a comment, but this has lost its space, so
well, if it's okay, I'll call you AO Day. I think that'll be good, hopefully. Yeah. Let us know.
Pop, I'm gonna drop a link into 15. Nice. AO Day Light.
Yeah, thank you.
Heyo!
I love it when everybody says hello to each other. It's excellent. You guys are fantastic.
And Jill, can you read this one?
I wonder who that is.
Oh, I know who it is already.
I know. I wonder. Somebody's got a name, maybe. Hello, Taylor Swift.
Hello.
And we don't even get the and anymore. We got downgraded to just others.
Oh, I didn't get a chance to say hello, PvP. Good to see you.
Oh, yeah, nice to be here, Pop. Always good to see you all.
Likewise.
She found you from your blooper reel. Maybe I should put a blooper reel up.
All right. Yes. Thank you. We were just talking about that. Okay. Yeah, that's starting to make sense now. Thank you. I'm glad you're here, and thank you for subbing.
And hey, Scotty, welcome. She says Jill has a pretty cool sidekick. Thanks.
Have the best.
By the way, everybody, I recommend you'll see in the Stream Element spot, it'll be scrolling along. You'll see a link for Antiderivative Jill. She's up here on the panel there on the bottom right. She's going to have a 500 sub celebration on Friday. Well, first of all, tomorrow she's going to have Star Trek TOS for Star Trek fans. She's going to be covering tomorrow at noon Central Time, Patterns of Force, right?
You got it.
Excellent. Yes. And if for any of you guys that are new, you've got to be there because you're going to learn a lot more about TOS than you ever did. Yeah. And if you can, also join her on Friday for her 500 sub celebration. Sorry, go ahead, Gorilla.
Hey, Jill, for that one, you should have blur out the certain symbol that YouTube doesn't like. You just put censored because they put FYB or FYU on it.
I don't think that's censored.
I don't know. I hope it's not. I'm gonna leave
It's
it up.
not.
I'm not
Yeah.
monetized yet, but I'm gonna be. I'm just going to experiment before I do any sort of censorship on my own channel.
Yeah. No, I just think that'd be funny.
Oh,
And Jim says, "LOL, make
yeah,
girl think." That's
probably.
why the smoke alarm's going off there because you made me think there, Jim. It's and Aode said it's the song "Daylight Comes" and "Me Wanna Go Home."
Yeah, it's
Yes,
a reggae song.
Aode is perfect.
Very cool.
And more links. Tally me banana, says Scurvy.
Right.
That's what was it? Was that Harry Belafonte that did that song or something?
I think
Yeah.
so. I
And
think
Scotty,
so.
I'm not putting that chat up there because YouTube will derank the algorithm. Said Suzanne says, Scotty, YouTube trigger word, dear, sorry. The trigger word list is huge, lol.
Yeah, I think if we say it or put it in the chat, they don't like it. But the image on the screen, especially because Jill's doing slides, I think it should be okay. I'm not an expert, but I guess I need to ask LDG when I see him. Let's see if he knows. Go ahead. Sorry. Oh, that's
Yeah,
it.
that's
Okay. Oh, duh. All right. Okay, everybody, we're gonna go ahead and get started because we're coming up on half the hour, and I want to let everybody know that tonight we're going to be covering season 1, episode 22, the challenge. So here's we get a very young, and I mean literally very young. I'm not. I'm going to stop using that word literally. I got tired of hearing that in California, so I'm going to wipe that from my vocabulary. Anyway, the challenge starring a very young Kurt Russell, and starring Michael and Sarah, a very well-known actor. He was in the Star Trek episode Day of the Dove, as well as a lot of shows in the 60s.
Yeah. And hey, Sean.
Hello, Sean. Good to see you, sir. And
Yeah,
Michael and Sarah,
Hey, Sean.
Michael and Sarah also, he used to be, not anymore, but he used to be married to Barbara Eden at one point. They have a few kids together. I'm not sure exactly how many. So, and he was also on Bewitched a few times, including one episode where he played Blue Jinn, which was actually a pretty good episode. Anybody's familiar with I Dream of Jeannie?
Yeah, I remember that episode. That was a good one.
Hey, YouTube changed the timeout times.
Really?
Timeout for what?
I went and clicked on the screen there for the chats and that on YouTube on my phone there. It said I could now time out people for 10 seconds. There used to be 5-minute timeouts. Now I can time people out from anywhere from 5 minutes to 24 hours.
Oh, okay.
Depending on how much you piss me off.
Well, hopefully nobody will push you to that point.
Well, I think
Oh, interesting.
I'm waiting for someone to butt time out someone for 24 hours.
But basically, that's the coolest thing about this episode is that we get King.
Yes, we do get King.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
I know the skinhead wig that he's wearing is not very convincing, but hey, the guy's a good actor. It makes up for it.
Oh, that was King?
Yes, but
Yeah.
Day of the Dove.
Yeah, Day of the
Okay.
Dove. He was the Klingon captain.
Well, I know King. I just didn't recognize him.
He also came back to Deep Space Nine later on in the episode with Jadzia Dax.
Was he also playing the same character?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, very cool. I definitely need to check that out.
It's a very good one. I think that would be one episode you would enjoy.
Yeah, and there was 2 other famous Klingon characters in that too, right, Jill?
So they were all in the same episode, including like William Campbell.
Yeah.
I know it was William Campbell and then
William Campbell.
John Kalikos.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was those 3. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it.
I'm definitely going to look that up. Oh, I'll watch it just for them. I know I'm not a huge fan of DS9, but I'll watch it for them for sure.
Yeah, and it is fun just for that.
It was Core that came back the most, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he came back more than once?
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah, Core was in at least 3 episodes there. Let's see, they had
Gotcha. Go ahead.
Yes.
We had the albino, the one where they go searching for the batleth of Kalus's batleth, and then he sacrificed. He took command of a ship there, and went and fend off 10 Jem'Hadar fighters. I think that was Core.
Oh, nice.
That's right.
Help me out here. My memory's a little vague. Which actor was that played Core?
John
Kalikos. Thank you. He's good as the bad guy. He was good in the original Battlestar Galactica too. So
Yeah,
I do like John Colicos. He loves play. He's a good villain. I'll put it that way.
yeah, he was. He was a good
Hmm.
villain in that show. Yep.
Yeah,
Baltar, wasn't that his name? Baltar, I think. And
Baltar, I think so. Yeah.
yeah. And Suzanne says YouTube is actually watching chats pop.
Really?
Yeah.
well, if I was, you think, yeah, but what about like I said, the symbol on the screen? I don't know if Suzanne knows what we're talking about. I don't know if we said the actual word, did we?
No,
But
but no, the word was put in the chat.
no, I know, but I'm saying is I don't think I think an image on the screen if Jill is showing slides should be okay. Hopefully.
Hopefully. And it also just depends on the channel too. They're unfair applying stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah. So Grill says or Nemesis says Grill is gonna make you put your nose in a corner if you get out of line. Yep. I
Oh
am
man,
tempted.
I
I
was a
am tempted,
kid and my uncle used to do that, and that is straight up child abuse.
and he's going, Jadzia Dax. Yeah. I was very close there. I actually got smacked when we were picking out the kids' names there, and I told her it doesn't matter what you pick out when you're still knocked out on drugs. I'm just gonna change the birth certificate. I told her I was gonna name her Jadzia.
But that's
Yeah.
really a pretty name. I might have said okay.
Yeah,
to
but yeah, it didn't stop me from getting smacked though.
Oh, yeah, I feel like she probably said, "Who's that?" or "What's that?" Right?
Well, I'd explained it to her. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I figured. I'm sure a Star Trek fan probably would not have complained. That's why I kind of guessed.
yeah. Nemesis is correct. Big Brother is always watching.
Unfortunately, yes, that is true.
We got to cover that on the horror stream.
Well, we need to find a good version of it. I think it's been done more than once. Oh, Big Brother? That's not a horror movie.
The 1980s one was pretty decent. So was the 1950s one.
It is. I know it's dystopian, but I don't know if I classify it as a horror movie. But I do horror sci-fi, so I think it might be more sci-fi, maybe.
Well, it
That-
scares
Yeah.
the
yeah, it'll
well,
fall in there somewhere, I'm sure.
Pop, it
Yeah.
scares the crap out of me there, seeing what we're going into, because
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It
Chad-
would be
yeah.
sci-fi for sure.
Yeah, it used to be scary. Now it's like, okay, yeah, what about it? Yeah, we're living that every day now. So, yeah,
Hey,
okay.
it's- hey, it's supposed to be a warning, not a handbook.
Unfortunately, I know that. Right, but you get rid of the World Health Organization and all them, and then maybe things will change, but that's not going to happen.
Oh, there's one way to do it, but I can't say it out loud.
Yeah, probably something YouTube would disagree with. Yeah, it makes
Oh,
sense.
not just YouTube. Sean says, okay, my phone is going back in my pocket, everyone. So please forgive me for not responding for a while. Oh, we'll forgive you for not responding, but I don't know if they'll forgive you if you time them out for 24 hours.
It's okay, Sean. I'm just glad you're here, and it's so good to see you.
Yeah, I've had that there where I had my phone in my pocket. I timed people out. So that's all the chats.
Okay, here we go. Let me give the little introduction here before we start with the slideshow. So this is episode 22, as I previously mentioned, The Challenge. Written by Barney Slater, with script polishing by Anthony Wilson. And it's directed by Don Richardson, who also did Mission Impossible and a lot of the other things at the time. Produced by Irvin Allen with Jerry Briskin. Assessment. Here we go. The challenge is quality lost in space in all regards. Here we are given two impressive guest stars, Michael and Sarah, having starred in 2 TV series by this time, and Kurt Russell, who was also the lead in the series, with motion picture stardom in his future. A compelling story by Barney Slater, competent direction by Don Richardson, and a script, of course, as soon as I get on here. I'm going to ignore that. So seriously, I'm not exaggerating. I get over at least a minimum of a dozen spam calls a day. Probably more if I actually counted.
Wow, that's not good.
No, it's horrible.
Are you on the do not call list?
Yeah, that's a real thing, isn't it? It's very effective, isn't it? TV series with motion picture stardom in Kurt Russell's future, a compelling story by Barney Slater, competent direction by Don Richardson, and a script which blends drama and comedy. all the while sharing the action and dialogue evenly between very nearly all the recurring cast members. Only Marta Kristen gets shortchanged. I agree. Too bad. Of particular interest is the saber duel between Guy Williams and Michael and Sarah, and I'm sure you have comments on this one, right, PvP?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. Back in '66, it was a thrill to see the actor famous for playing Zorro engaging in electronically enhanced swordplay. That in itself, along with the high marquee value of the recurring cast and the two guest stars, made the challenge a highly promotable episode for the series. And one can't help but see the electric saber fight as possible inspiration for Star Wars lightsabers a decade later.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Absolutely. Behind this inspired gimmick, there is a strong central theme present in the story, having to do with father son relationships. One boy is desperate to gain approval and under great pressure to live up to his father's expectations. After Quano's encounters with the monster in the cave, the ruler asks with concern, "Are you all right? You were not injured in any way." Quano answered, "No, father." Speaking in anger, says, "Then I am free to say how much of a fool you are. What possessed you to confront a formidable beast?" I have comments on this later. Armed only with a wooden spear, Quano avoids his father's stare, saying, "I wish to prove my courage to the Earth Boy." His father scolds him and "Instead, you displayed your stupidity?" You won't hear that on TV these days. Quano lowers his head and looks at the ground in shame and says, "I'm exceedingly sorry, father. I only did so because I remembered that you killed such a beast when you were my age." The script then describes how the stern features of the ruler soften and he places a gentle hand on the shoulder of his son and merely says, "You are forgiven." I don't want to read the whole episode verbatim. We will be getting to that. As usual, I'll cover insights and interviews, behind the scenes things, and some original, if there's in here. I haven't read the entire chapter yet. Any original script rights that did not make it in front of the camera. And I'm referring once again, before I forget, to the book Irwin Allen's Lost in Space, the authorized biography of a classic sci fi series by Mark Cushman, Marc Cushman. And I could not recommend that name anymore. This book is thick. It's just thicker than the Bible. He has one book for each season. So I've got to get ready to order the one for season two. We'll be going into that soon. And another reason I'm recommending him is because he also wrote three equally as compelling and fascinating books on Star Trek the TOS. He wrote one book for each season. So if you're a fan of TOS, I couldn't recommend it more. You'll find them on Amazon. That's where I got mine.
Wow.
Sorry for the plug, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be awesome. I'd love to read
Oh
all
yeah,
of those.
no, those are great books. These are the voyages, or what they're called for Star Trek.
Yes, thank
And
you, Jill.
That's
welcome,
cool.
Pickles. Welcome,
Hello,
welcome.
LDG. Good to see you, LDG. I hope you're doing well.
Hey, LDG.
Hello.
Yeah, just a note, LDG. I'm going to be contacting you soon. I have a few questions about YouTube algorithm, and I definitely know that you're the expert on that. You know more than any of us combined, and I hope you don't mind. I was telling everybody about that before you got here, so I will be saying hello soon and dropping by. I'll do it in the mornings. I don't want to catch you while it's late. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share. By the way, everybody, credit goes out to the magnificent Antiderivative Jill, for she's the one that supplies the slides, and she does a magnificent job. So she'll be covering the slides for tonight's show. So give her a shout out if you can. There we go. And we start with the cliffhanger from previous episode from last week, where it looks like we have Will and Dr. Smith camping outside the Jupiter 2, and it looks like they're prepared for some sort of action. I don't think they really know what that's going to be, so they have the rifles laying there in between them. And Will is partially awake. Dr. Smith is, of course, dead asleep because that's all he does is eat and sleep. And then suddenly we get a strange noise. Well, we still have the narrator, of course, filling us in on what happened. And the narrator, by the way, is much better than I am. So I highly recommend, if you have not seen the show or if it's been a long time, please watch it. I don't want to ruin it. And obviously, the experience of watching it is much more enjoying than listening to us. But hey, we do our best to try to keep you happy as well.
Yeah, I was surprised at how much of this episode I'd actually forgotten when I watched it last night. I'd forgotten a lot of details in the plot line. Like it was kind of shocking, actually.
Yeah, me too. It's been years. And I'll honestly admit, I remember Kurt Russell and Michael and Sarah, and I vaguely remember the challenge towards the end. But yeah, it was the same thing. I was filling in a lot of blanks.
Yeah,
So
me
for
too.
me, I enjoy this just as much when I was a kid. I mean, I still get just as much enjoyment, just as much laughs. And I wanted to shout out and mention. I know it's going to be a spoiler, but I really, really love the interaction between Dr. Smith and the robot this episode. It's really taken to a whole different level.
Good old Dr. Smith using Will as a shield like he always does.
Of
Yeah.
course,
Well,
what a hero, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I wish I could sleep through an alarm like that. But I've learned you got to wake up when you hear alarms because I actually got actually got a video there. My sister said I sounded pissy there when the tornado sirens went off at 3 o'clock in the damn morning. My sister said I sounded a little pissy.
I'm a
Yeah, well-
very light sleeper. The slightest noise wakes me up. My dogs could be snoring and it'll wake me up. Go ahead.
Yeah, welcome, Basil.
Hey,
Hello,
Basil.
Basil. Good to see you. Yeah, Basil was the first one in the chat tonight.
Oh, was he? He just said I hear. But
Good to see you again, Basil.
no, there's a couple storms I've slept through, but I've been woken up through the tornado. I could not sleep through an alarm like that, especially when I'm supposed to be listening for it while I sleep.
Right, but we're talking about Dr. Smith. Remember when he woke him up here?
Yeah.
Dr. Smith just wakes up and says, "Wake me up when it's time for breakfast."
Yeah.
So the noise, Will wakes up Dr. Smith because he hears a noise. And then that's when they're surprised by this young boy here with a spear. And he explains to them who he is. Go ahead, Jill.
Kurt Russell here is about to turn 15, and Bill Mooney is about to turn 12.
Thank you. Yes, you can definitely see the difference in size. And as we all know, which one went on to a bigger career, right? I mean, no offense. I know Bill Mooney had somewhat of a career. And I think he was in Babylon 5, wasn't he, Gorilla?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he was Lanier at Babylon 5 there.
Yeah, he's had a few parts here and there, but I know he didn't definitely not even close to the status of what Kurt Russell did.
He was in one episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
I didn't know
The
that.
Battle of Air. Oh, the one. AR-52. The one
know
where
that
same
Nog,
one with the same one with the Klingons.
no. The one where Nog lost his leg.
Oh, that was a good one.
Wait, what was that about Nog losing his leg?
Bill Mooney is in that episode.
Oh, what did he play?
He also played an engineer in that episode.
Oh, he was an engineer. Oh, so background character. Okay.
Yeah, it's the Battle of AR some kind of number. I forget the number.
Siege of AR 558.
There you go.
And believe it or not, he actually had a cameo, and he plays Dr. Smith in the Netflix Lost in Space remake. I'm not recommending it because me personally, I'm not a fan, but I'm sure there are fans out there. But he does play the character of Dr. Smith, and he has his. I can't believe I'm saying this because it sounds so bad. But a lady knocks him out and takes his identity, and she poses as Dr. Smith. And it's like, I'm not going to describe it any further. It's like describing current Trek, and I'm not going to do it. In my opinion, they all fall in the
It's
same
not that
category.
bad. Oh my god!
I'm sorry.
I don't think the
No offense.
I don't think the new Lost in Space is as bad as New Trek. It may not be very good, but it's not that bad. I don't know.
So you
Well,
watched it?
but I have a feeling.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, she did. But I have a feeling, Jill, when you watched it, it was before this, so you didn't know who Billy Mooney was.
That's
and
true.
that
I
was
didn't.
him, right?
Right.
Right, yeah, because he's the Dr. Smith at the beginning of the first episode. I think
That's kind of funny though. They should have kept that.
That's what I said. I go, well, they have him play Dr. Smith. Nobody could have done it better. He's not that old.
And he worked with him, so he would know exactly what to do.
exactly what to
Oh
do, the
yeah,
mannerisms, everything. And it's like, oh, I was so disappointed. It's like, come on, you guys have the virtue signal. Darn Netflix, the old
no,
gender race swapping. That's like, come on.
they're always doing it. It seems. Yeah, that's true.
Worked it. Dr. Smith, the highlight of this show, they have to make him a woman. I mean, no offense to women out there, but Dr. Smith is not a woman, and the character is not a woman. It's like making a female Spock. It's like, why do that? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I don't
Sorry,
know why they do
I
any of it.
digress. Yeah, I digress. Oh,
Makes no
virtue
sense.
signaling, virtue signaling.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and sexism, and
Ugh.
I can go down the list with all of it.
Yeah, I'm pretty tired of it. I wish they'd just stop.
Well, I did. I stopped watching it.
Oh yeah, that's one way to deal with it. Yeah,
It is right. Don't give them any attention. Don't pay any money. Don't right.
that's right. Don't give them a dime. Yeah.
Don't no viewership numbers. And I don't do negative streams just to promote them. A
Yep.
stream on how bad something is. I'm not one of those kind of YouTubers. On my stream, I only cover things that I enjoy that I want to promote.
Yeah, it's better just to ignore the bad stuff.
Exactly. So here's where we have where Quano, Kurt Russell's character, meets the Robinsons and explains who he is. And what's good is once again we spoke about this in some previous episodes. They address the fact how do you speak English, and he tells them that he learned from his father. And another thing that I know it's kind of difficult for today's audiences to accept. This was the '60s, but remember this is also when women were getting a lot more equal rights back in the '60s. So, and this is something they would not show now. But what happens is Kurt Russell and his father don't
You
seem
always say
to.
it's weird.
Go ahead, Jill.
Oh, I'm sorry. You always say they won't do things that they. You always say they never do it today. No writer knows how to write a story today. I don't know. It's just
Well,
weird.
that too, right? Yeah, that's the first problem. Number one, right?
Yeah, this was one thing that really surprised me was because I'd forgotten the dialogue after not seeing it for years, but I thought, man, this is pretty sexist stuff. A lot of the dialogue in
Well,
this
it
episode,
is, and
it's kind of mind blowing.
but the idea is that the lot in Lost in Space future, women are equal. So it's a similar thing to Star Trek in terms of that, the way they set that up.
Yeah,
Yes.
I guess it also is a way to make the aliens, um, maybe not necessarily bad guys, but not overly likable.
Yeah,
So
like Frangie.
yeah, exactly.
But the thing is that John doesn't really. He's not really worried about this. Every time somebody makes a comment like this, he's like, "All right, I'm just gonna let that go."
Yeah, I thought that was kind of one of the stranger aspects of the episode. At least to me, it was like the dialogue. I love how Penny got totally PO'd here, though.
Poor Penny.
That was great. Once again, Angela gets to show her acting chops, which was
Yeah,
fun.
but unfortunately, Judy doesn't get any lines.
Yeah, I couldn't figure that one out. Yeah.
So I fade to the background, right? Just stand
Yeah.
there and look pretty. It's sad.
That's a good line, though. You can see the dirty faced little boy. That made me laugh. Yeah. That's good. Half-pint bully boy. She's really tearing him apart.
I guess maybe that's why John doesn't say anything. Penny's doing all the work.
She's getting it done.
Well, that's good. And when you think about it, too, it's good they're letting her do it instead of him.
Yeah, I
Remember
guess
when this? Right, this was right around the time that they had the famous bra burning and all that stuff going on.
Oh yeah.
So women's rights was really just like equal rights for and I hate, I don't know which word to use without offending somebody, but black people. This is the March of Martin Luther King and all that was going on back then.
Well, that was
Vietnam, all of it.
minority rights, I guess you could call it.
Civil rights.
Civil rights. Yes, that's it. Thank you, Joe.
That's the term. Yes.
Right. So this is just like with Star Trek. They would cover current political matters, but kind of embedded within the fiction of the science fiction, without being too in your face, like everything on TV is now. I mean, it's definitely directly in your face.
And it's not too often you get to agree with Dr. Smith when he decides that quote the boy needs a spanking.
Yeah,
I know,
that's
right?
good. Yeah, Smith was actually good there with that delivering that line. I like that.
Yes, I totally agree. And they offer him food because Maureen, being the mother, of course, feels compassion towards him immediately, even though he's ruthless and rude. She immediately offers to if he'd like to have something to eat, and he turns it down. He doesn't tell. We don't know yet, and he doesn't tell her yet if he's alone or what's going on. So that's something we'll establish later on. But you have to give it credit because for Maureen, that is fitting for her character. Even though he's abrasive and he's rude, she's still going to offer him shelter and something to eat, which I like that part.
Yeah, actually, Smith here is like kind of like the voice of reason too, right? Saying like we better secure the ship before we, retire for the evening.
Right. That is well. He's always paranoid, but yes, in this case, he's correct.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of found it kind of refreshing. We got to see little glimpses of other aspects of Smith's character in this one.
Oh, absolutely, yes, especially with the robot. I can't wait till we get to that. And she notices that as they're eating, he's hiding behind the rocks. And once
No,
again, she invites him over and see if he wants to eat something.
no,
So I agree.
Dr. Robinson noticed that she was sitting behind the rocks. Then she gets mad at him for going, how come he didn't dare invite him over? And he goes, well, for a person like that, he has to come to you, not you to go to him.
Which makes sense. I guess sometimes maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. But I'm glad they left it up to her to go over and offer a hand or hand out or hand up, however you want to look at it. And of course, what's funny is he walks over and starts staring at Dr. Smith, and he's looking at him up and down. And Dr. Smith says, "What are you looking at?" And of course, he says he wants to get an idea. I can't remember verbatim, but of what they look like, and he uses Dr. Smith as an example. Well, they always use Dr. Smith as an example, unfortunately.
Hey, well, if you're going to war with another species, show them your weakest one there.
Yeah, that's good tactic. I totally agree,
Yeah,
Gorilla.
that's good logic there, Gorilla. Good stuff.
Weak and full of vanity. Yeah, I'd say that describes Dr. Smith pretty much.
Don's certainly enjoying the description.
Yeah.
Once again, right, Don's always the one to lighten it up, and I love that too. Don also gets some good lines in this episode.
Hey, the robot had the best lines for Dr. Smith.
Oh, yes. Because, this episode too, and I'm not going to give away too much, but Dr. Smith is kind of nasty, kind of two-faced, kind of backstabbing. And who puts him in his place but the robot? But I won't give any away spoilers. I'll wait till we get to that part. And of course, Dr. Smith, he still will bow and say Your Majesty to Quano when Quano explains that he's royalty. I'll put it that way without giving him too much. And of course, he insults them. He's talking to Professor Robinson and Don, saying that they do the work. No, he's talking about Will. Yep. Will was out gathering things, and the old stereotype that women are gatherers and men are hunters, etc.
Yep. Yeah, he managed to insult the women and Will all in one sentence.
Yeah, but I'm so disconnected from this time period that it was just funny to me.
I just found it kind of shocking that it was so sexist in the Family Hour. Like, I guess I don't know. I'd forgotten like the dialogue. I thought it was like pretty over the top at times. Really.
This is what they were dealing with at the time.
Yeah.
That's why I'm glad that, like I mentioned earlier, I'm glad that Penny's the one that got the words in instead of. I mean, that would have been nice, of course, if Professor Robinson would have spoken up. But I'm glad of the fact that they let a female speak up for the female race in a way. So I'm really happy for that.
Female race.
I'm sorry, gender, human race, female gender. Thank you, Jill. All this modern day trans stuff, it confuses me anymore.
Makes sense.
I did like too that it was Penny, the youngest female, that delivered the tongue lashing, to tell him off. Right, that was kind of fun.
And it's fitting for Penny because she's tough. Remember in last week's Mirror episode, how she was talking about cutting her hair and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Penny's very resilient for sure.
Can you catch up on chat real quick?
Yes, thank you, Gorilla. I really appreciate that.
AOD says, thank you, Suzanne. I'm subscribing to this is great. I love Lost in Space, Star Trek, I Dream of Jeannie, Twilight Zone, etc.
All right. Well, that's wonderful. Then you come to the right place.
Yeah,
What's funny too is I was actually thinking the other day. I wish I could cover I Dream of Jeannie. There's so many shows I wish I could cover. But comedy is difficult, as like Darryl and I have said before. Comedy is nearly impossible to review without ruining it. So I don't know if I'll be doing any more comedy after we finish Gilligan's Island.
Yeah. And Suzanne says, Aode, great, glad you are enjoying the stream. And she's Basil Island. And then Basil says, I'm surprised Dr. Smith isn't cowering behind a giant rock.
Give him time. Give him time. I think
Yeah.
we'll get, because believe me, it won't be long before we see something like that.
Yeah, that's everything.
Okay, and this is where Will is on the defensive because obviously he doesn't like the way Quano, which is Kurt Russell's character, is speaking to the family, the girls, and himself. So obviously he's going to feel that he needs to stick up for his family, which I like that. You don't understand. You've been raised by your father.
Badly.
Right. I'm glad Will speaks up. I'm glad because this Quano does not know Professor Robinson, as we all know, as being fans. He's an excellent father character, which they will soon discover.
Well, Quano's immaturity definitely shows through a lot in this episode because he's very arrogant and he's got a lot to learn about
And they
life.
explain why. They explain why because everything is about him impressing his dad. He's afraid he doesn't want to look weak in front of his father.
Right.
I wanted to address this too. So they go into the cave and they make noise, which brings this monster forward. I guess it's a monster. I'm sure when I go through the chapter here tonight, it'll probably mention the name of this monster. I like when they get a new one every week. By the way, this is 20th Century Fox. So I'm thinking that's the same head from The Fly.
That's exactly my thoughts when I watch this. It's
Yes,
got to be the fly head. Yeah,
it is because that was also 20th Century Fox, and
that's cool.
that has got to be it. They know the Paul Z, the costume designer, obviously did the costume, but that is definitely the Fly head.
Yeah, it's very cool to see.
But what's interesting is the boys make a noise. The monster comes out, and all it's doing is waving its arms. It's not attacking it. It could be saying, "Help me, help me." And what do? They try to attack it.
That would have been hilarious if they had to go, help me.
I know. That's what's funny is the boys immediately assume it's an evil monster trying to kill them. When you think about it, all it does is stand there and wave its arms. It doesn't even advance on them.
Yeah.
Well, that's what.
Yeah.
That's what they say. It's a formidable monster, but that thing would be like, I could just take it out, just go up there and kick it right in the nards. And I'll feel fun. Give me something scary. Give me something like scales to stop the penetration from the spear or something. But
but how do you know where the nards are?
And this is also a costume they made for another episode where there was a monster that looked like seaweed. So
yes,
this one might
something
be
like
the same.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one.
So like a recycled costume here from maybe a few different things.
Yeah, for all we know, the monster could just be saying, "Hey, get out of my home! Get out of my home! What are you guys?"
Yeah, I've got a baby right here. I've got children right here behind the rock.
Exactly.
Yeah, whoa, that would have made this episode a little better if it were a little more menacing and it turned out to be a mother.
That would be cool.
But I'm not going to knock it for what we do get. We can always add speculation, but I love Lost in Space. It's very close to my heart. So I do love it for what it is. And I think it's quaint. Yes, it's not perfect. Yes, it has flaws. But so does Star Trek. Star Trek wasn't always consistent. Which I also love, by the way. I'm not going to knock Star Trek. Oh, goodness, no. Go ahead.
And Kirby here is like, Nard-based life form.
Oh, jeez.
Kick you in the nuts.
And I have notes here. In comparing Barney Slater, the second most prolific Lost in Space writer, to Peter Packer, who is the champ in respect to output, director Don Richardson said, Barney Slater was an entirely opposite guy to Peter Packer. Barney was a very enthusiastic, very extroverted fellow who could drive you right up the wall if you spent some time with him because he would constantly tell you part of his next writing job. He would grab you, and whether you were having lunch with him or during the middle of the rehearsal, you were stuck because he would tell you for 2 hours the entire plot of the movie he was writing. The challenge was Slater's sixth script for the series, following Wish Upon a Star, The Sky is Falling, The Keeper Parts 1 and 2, and War of the Robots. On January 31st, 1966, after reading Slater's final handling of the script, reformatted by the Mimeo department and designated as the January 28, 1966, quote, shooting final, Sam Taylor Jr. of CBS Program Practices, quote, censors, wrote, as discussed with Mr. Wilson, we do not wish the Act 1 to end as indicated on page 18 with the two young boys menaced by the monster. You may wish to rewrite the pertinent portion. I gotta silence my phone. It always starts as soon as I get on here. I really apologize, guys. We don't need background noise. You may wish to rewrite the pertinent portion of the script so as to conclude the act in some new fashion. Barring this, however, the following are our suggestions based on the script now submitted. The act could conclude at the end of scene 39, page 17, so as to add suspense, as we would not object to growling sounds coming from the monster at this point. However, the monster should not appear on the screen. So this is what I mentioned earlier, is what is written by the script, the original script, and sometimes recommendations from the censors weren't always carried out and executed what we see on the camera. Oh, here's a good note here. Page 18, scene 47. Please do not allow this scene where the monster receives a spear in his side and then tears it out to be excessively gruesome. So apparently the censors have a lot of issues with this episode, which makes sense considering the content, I guess you could say.
I'm just wondering though, how do you get a spear in the side and tear it out, making it not gruesome? Like,
Right, well, even if they didn't show any blood or anything, that would
yeah,
probably
well,
the impact is too much, probably, because impact is always a big no-no for censors. A lot of
yeah,
times the
maybe.
impact is done off screen. The
Well,
wording
they
of the
never
script,
did show. They never did show blood in Lost in Space that I can remember, though, did they, Pop? Like,
right? Well, that's like also contact, like fist to face, punching, stabbing, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, because obviously this was done during the family hour.
right?
The wording in the script caused the CBS censors great concern, and rightfully so. It read, another angle, Will and Quano. Now remember this comes from the censors. The two boys begin to slowly back towards the cave exit. Without warning, the cave is filled with the fierce roar of a monster. Will and Quano stop in fear and look in the direction of the sound. Reverse angle, a fantastic looking monster stands atop a rock. As we watch, it leaps to the ground with a growl. Medium shot with Will and Guano. I guess it's Quano. I shouldn't Guano. I no, he's not Guano. He's Quano with a Q.
Yeah, definitely not guano.
Right. Medium shot with Will and Quano as they stare at the monster. They are both backing away. Quano's voice quaking. Run, I will keep the monster at bay. Favoring the monster, that means the camera. Growling fearlessly, it moves towards Will and Quano. Quano says, only one of us can make it. Go. No, I'm going to pause. Only one of us can make it. And then go to William Robinson. Will doesn't answer, but raises the hunting knife to defend himself. The monster continues to advance, and then suddenly, with a blood-curdling growl, charges the two boys. Medium close shot with Will and Quano as they brace themselves for the attack. Quano advances a couple of paces and hurls his spear. Close-up shot of the monster. The spear lodges in the fleshy part of the monster's side, and with a scream of pain and fury, it tears the spear out, hurls it aside, and continues towards Will and Quano. Everything I'm reading, by the way, guys, for those of you in the chat, everything I'm reading is not in this episode. This is what the censors did not like. Intercut the action. With a backward sweep of its hand, the monster sends Quano tumbling to the ground where he rolls against a rock and lies stunned. Then the monster directs its attention towards Will. Will, knife ready, retreats before the advance of the monster until his back is against the wall of the cave. This presentation is dramatic and potentially frightening. CBS would have none of it. What we ended up getting was a roaring monster which stayed in the background, with Colano advancing on it before tripping and hitting his head on the rock. So I wanted to explain the difference there. Thank you guys for the time. I know we go on tangents sometimes, but I thought that was
really
necessary.
good. That was really interesting information, actually. That makes a lot of sense.
Yep. So the censors. Once again, the censors intervened, and that's why we get the dancing monster in the background not doing anything. So in the original script, it was much different.
I'm sure Barney Slater was extremely impressed with the way the censors censored his script.
I know it, right?
Oh, man.
But
See,
it's
what's the
interesting.
point of having a monster that doesn't attack?
Exactly. Where's the fun?
I know. Well, as we covered in a previous episode, the CBS censors or boards of practices or whatever it's called, they didn't like to see the kids in real extreme danger. So it's apparent once again. Standard practices.
Standards and practices. I think it was something like
Yes.
that.
Yes, that's it. Standards and practices. I'm so used to calling them censors.
I was muted this whole time.
I guess so. We didn't hear you.
You were very quiet for a while there.
Yeah, well, I had to do some yelling. Unless
okay.
Unless you want some tangent, unless you want some tangent entertainment there.
Sure. I'm willing to hear your opinion about what we just discussed.
Yeah. Welcome, Edge of Time.
Hello, Edge of Time. Hail.
Who farted? It could be my oops, wrong button. Because my chair
it wasn't me. I haven't
rubbing against the wall here. So it's probably my chair. It's rubbing against the wall here, but I can't push this out any further.
I didn't even notice, honestly.
Because Scurvy's blaming me, so. And Edge of Time says, a question as old as language. Wouldn't the censors freak out watching modern gore?
Forgotten?
Freaking out. Like, they freak out about the modern gore.
Oh, these days, I don't know. I don't watch TV anymore, but it seems to me like everything Back then, absolutely.
It seems to me like there are no such thing as censors anymore. They pretty much put anything on the TV.
I know, and it's sad. It's terrible. Right, because now it's all shock value. It's like sex and cuss words, and I don't know about how violent violence is now, or gore, but I know it's all sex and cuss words, which I'm not there to watch for that.
Gorilla did his cringe stream a few weeks ago. Like, that was pretty bad.
Was that a broadcast show?
I hesitate to even mention the name of the show because it was so god awfully bad.
You know which one it was, Pop?
It's a cartoon. I'll say that.
I'm not surprised. And that's shameful. I'm a big Scooby-Doo fan, and that's why I'm sorry. No offense, Gorilla, but I wasn't able to attend because I don't want to see one of my favorite franchises torn asunder.
Oh, we were watching just to mock it.
I know, but I don't enjoy myself. For me, I would just get upset whether people were mocking it or not. It upsets me to watch, like I said, a dearly beloved franchise get what they did to it. I can't do it. I don't find any angle, no matter how you approach it. I can't find it funny.
It wasn't funny, that's for sure. It was definitely not funny.
I know, but I can't. I'd rather just keep. Like I mentioned in my stream the other night, that's why when I go to a funeral, that's why I don't walk up to the casket and look at the dead person because I sit back and I want to remember what I remember from my memories. I prefer that.
Remember when things were good. Exactly, I get it totally.
Right. If I'm going to watch Scooby-Doo, I'll watch Scooby-Doo, the real thing from the 60s, early 70s.
Yeah.
All right. Does someone want to read this one for me?
How about you, PvP? Would you like to volunteer?
Oh boy, I'm going to be challenged with the Spanish here, but. Why does bat poop have a Spanish name? Is that K divertido? I hope I didn't mangle that too badly.
Any idea, Jill?
I would ask Jill, but
she's away.
Oh, Jill's away. Okay, Jay is correct. I'm not sure if Divertito. I'm not sure if I pronounced it not, but K is correct.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
thank you.
am away because I am helping Ava, but I am listening.
Does that
Okay.
did I say that reasonably, not too
I'm not.
horribly?
I'm not
Jill?
all that much better than you, but I would say get divertido.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Ooh,
Well, it
that
sounds
sounds
better
Hey,
much
than
better.
yeah, it
That
sounds better
sounds
than what
much
I
better.
say. Thank you,
Yeah,
Jill.
much better than me.
you're the closest one to the border there, so it'd be you that we'd be asking.
That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it means it's fun.
Maybe Divertito. I wonder if that means like a diversion.
Uh,
I know,
I have
like a
no
movie
Uh,
that
idea what a
Google
It's
diversion is.
translate.
it's the word fun.
yeah.
Fun.
And,
Okay, gotcha.
Oh,
yeah, and LDG says almost Jaffa looking. And Jill says it is fun. I agree at the time.
Yes, and we have met a
Uh,
mad scientist in the chat, and he's very fluent in 3 different languages: English, Spanish, and Portuguese. So feel free,
okay.
mad
wow,
scientist, if you're listening, feel free to chime in.
Yeah, then LDG
that's
puts
impressive.
Cree in the chat for some reason. And welcome Daniel's Hot Topics.
Hey, Daniel, good to see you again. Daniel was my co-host on my stream Saturday night. He spent almost the entire time up on the panel. And
Yeah,
a
I
shout
was
out everybody to Daniel's Hot Topics.
I was trying to get some stuff done during that time there.
Oh,
And
no, no, it's fine. I just want to say, Daniel, once again, thank you for helping me out that night. And also, Daniel, when you see the Stream Element spot scroll through the chat, let me know if you're included in there or not, your channel. If not, I will add that. Let me know. Okay. Go
yeah.
ahead, Gorilla.
And Taylor Swift here says Jill says I'm banned from her chat with this name. She does not acknowledge that person. LOL.
I guess you're just not a Taylor Swift fan.
I'm not, but I didn't ban him.
Pre
I don't.
Teasing.
I've heard the
pre
name, but I couldn't tell you who Taylor Swift is. I think it's a singer, but I couldn't tell you any
Yes.
songs.
Yeah, well, pre
Not sure.
pop she was pretty good, you know. But then she decided to go to pop music, then run her mouth on Twitter. So, and he's asking who's that actor? That is Kane.
Michael and Sarah. The actor is King. I'm sorry, the actor is Michael and Sarah, who also played Star Trek on Day of the. He played Kang on the episode of Star Trek Day of the Dub from the original series, among other lots of things he used to do back then. And like I mentioned previously, at this point here, he had already started 2 of his own series.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite season 3 episodes. He was fantastic in that one.
yeah. And we're supposed to be getting some kind of bunch of
Oh,
emojis here.
Okay,
And
cool.
Daniel says Scooby Doo rules. I love Scooby Doo. I can always watch it when I feel down, and I came better than I was before. And don't watch the new stuff. I swear, don't watch the new stuff.
oh yeah. Don't watch it.
It's been a blast. Got to run, but I'll watch for you guys out there the next time.
All
And
right. Well, thank you, AO Day.
and AOD, if you're still listening there on Fridays, if you like these shows, I do the Waltons on Fridays.
And the name of your channel is?
Grills Random Thoughts.
There we go. And you'll see the link in the chat. Thank you. So good to see you, AO Day, and welcome to the channel.
Yeah,
And
have a
Basil
good
says,
evening there, Yode.
"Do not fear death. Death has been overcome. Hades, the Lord of Hades, the
Hades.
Lord of Hades. Hades, same difference. Go with what I mean, not
It
what I say.
works. Yeah, it all works. I'm fine.
Go with
I'm
what I mean, not what I say.
right.
The Lord of Death has been destroyed." And Basil says, "Hey, by the way, where's Robot? I haven't seen him yet. Go get there." And
Yes, we will get there, fortunately.
Banshee's laughing.
All
You
right.
know,
So here's. Go ahead.
I just wanted to mention, like, this is a nice shot of Answer and his bald head wig. I actually thought it looked pretty damn convincing to my old eyes. Like, it
Oh,
looks
you'll
pretty
see.
good
There's.
there.
There's a. Well, it's the close-ups is where it really reveals itself. I'll put it that way.
Because it looks good in the mid-range shots. I thought. Like, I almost
Yes.
thought, did he actually shave his head? And then I'm thinking he probably didn't. But I thought it
Right.
looked pretty good.
Right. And like you said, he's kind of in the shadows, but we'll see.
Yeah.
And I'll point it out if Jill gets. I'm sure Jill was. She's so very efficient with these slides. There's
Right.
a scene later on where he's talking to Professor Robinson, where it's very clear towards the end of the episode.
Oh darn.
But as we see that Quano, due to the rewrites in the script because of the censors, Quano trips over a rock, hits his head, is temporarily stunned or knocked out, however you want to put it. Will comes to the rescue, just as the father intervenes, Quano's father, that is, who comes into the cave, and he does realize that Will is brave, and he gives him credit for that. And he says, even the bravest man. Will's honest. He said, "Well, honestly, sir, I was afraid." And he says, "Well, even the bravest man experiences fear," which is totally true. Some of the best veterans from World War II said that if you don't experience fear, you're a fool.
Well, you probably won't live long either.
Oh,
No, you won't.
was that actually from the veterans there? I thought that was I can't remember which show I seen that. A man that says a man who does not feel fear was a fool.
That wasn't Band of Brothers, was it?
It might have been.
That's a
And
great show.
welcome Euler.
No, it definitely was not the Band of Brothers because I've never seen that show and it's been around a lot longer than that. And I'm guessing it
Okay.
also wasn't the Bee Gees.
Yeah. Welcome Euler. Great.
Hey, Elder Gray, here we go.
Hey,
It will
Euler.
not do him any good. He allows himself to do the work of women. So, of course, when
Oh, jeez.
Quano's father, which I believe is called the ruler, praises Will Robinson, that makes Quano jealous because, of course, his attention is going towards Will and away from himself.
Now, you know that little vein you got in the side of your neck. There, I can see the SJW's veins just throbbing and throbbing harder and harder during this episode. Just throbbing.
Calm down, SJWs. Calm down. It's okay. It's all fiction.
There's no way in hell that they get even 5 minutes of this episode without someone wanting to cancel it.
Yeah,
Well,
it'd be like that. It'd be like the Scanners movie, wouldn't it?
Well, what I wonder, does anybody out there know? Now, I'm asking the panel and the chat. Does anybody know if this show is being on broadcast anywhere, or is it only available on DVD and Blu-ray? Because the day's going to come where they won't show this stuff anymore.
I don't think it is. Your best bet is to check the lineup for TV Land. That'd be your best bet.
Yeah, maybe TV Land, something like that. And of course, even then, it'll be highly edited because that's what they do on that. And TV, TV Land, all that stuff, they really butcher these shows. So please don't watch it. Not from those sources. Try to obtain the original uncut episodes if you can.
They used to show Lost in Space. They started on 1997 here in Canada on the Space Channel went on the air in 1997. So
That's around okay. Go ahead.
yeah, so whoever was doing the programming was brilliant because they decided to do a 24-hour Lost in Space marathon the very first day the channel existed, and they started it on the same day that the Jupiter 2 launched in the series.
Very cool.
It was very cool, yeah. And
I know there was a period. Yeah, there was also a period in the, I believe, late '90s, early 2000s that the Sci-Fi Channel was showing it. It was like I think at 6 a.m, something like that. I would watch it, even though this is what I was teaching. I made it it was for me an assignment. I watched this every morning, getting ready for work, even though I was a full-grown adult going to school. Oh, and I would tell the kids about it. And there was a few times where when they did really well, I would bring a videotape copy of some of the episodes and showed it to them, and they loved it.
Right on. Wow.
Yeah, I tried to expose them to it as much as possible. I even showed them Laurel and Hardy and a little bit of the Three Stooges.
That's cool. But when they started showing on the Space Channel back in '97, they actually showed complete episodes. Because I was taping them on my VHS machine, right? And they were actually all around 51 minutes long. I couldn't believe it. Like there were very few commercials for a while back then on the channel.
Yep. Right. That'll tell you that's when the channel respects it. Well, because now you watch it, and it's probably like 40-something minutes with all the commercials, right?
Yeah, the thing is too. I think as a it was not a free channel. It was like a subscriber-based channel where you had to pay a paid TV channel, basically.
Oh, that explains it. Okay.
I think when they were starting out for the first few years, they kept the commercials to a minimum and basically played stuff pretty much uncut, just to I think trying to attract subscribers. And I guess it worked because I think they're still going probably, even though I never watch TV anymore. But yeah,
same here. Same here. I don't have a TV. The only reason why I miss having a TV is because I usually have it hooked up where I can watch movies off my server, movies and TV shows.
Right.
So I don't watch it for modern stuff, but I'd like to have a TV that has a big screen to watch the classics.
True. Yeah.
And of course, Quano is pretty much saying bad things about Will because he's upset because Will showed his bravery in front of his father, the ruler. And he says that he's weak, but he says Will, of course, takes that into offense and says, "I'll show you how weak I am." And this is where the father, the ruler, tells Will, "Thank you, and you may go home." Or Will says, "I need to go home." That's right. Will volunteers to go home. And so here's where Quano, like we were talking, or sorry, the ruler, discusses with his son what happened, and the son says, I was trying to impress you, father."
Quano's dad doesn't get a name, does he?
No, from what I read, the only reason why I know to address him as the ruler is I read it in this book. So I don't know if they actually call him that in the story or
They
within
do
the
one
Well,
time.
what they say, he says his father rules over a whole planet. That's when Dr. Smith gets down on his knees and starts kissing ass.
Yes, thank you for clarifying that, Gorilla.
Yes, he became the new subject.
Yes, of course, which he always does. Yeah, Dr. Smith is going to bow down to anybody as long as there's a chance he might get back to Earth.
Yep, exactly. Oh, here we go. Finally,
Now,
we
here
got
we
our
are.
B9 here.
Yes, and like I mentioned earlier, we're going to get a lot of really good interactions between the robot and Dr. Smith in this episode. Of course, Dr. Smith was dozing off, and he unfortunately gets awakened from his daytime nap, and he's making the robot do all his work. That is,
Like, who programmed the robot with extra snark? Where did
I
that come from?
I'm guessing that would be um not not Mr. Robinson, the other one,
Don?
Dawn.
Don.
But does he
oh, I
have
would
any
like.
computer aptitude?
I bet you
Judging,
anything, Don.
no offense to Don, but I'd say judging by the way he flies to Jupiter too, probably not. No, I'm just kidding.
Hmm. It
That's a
wouldn't be
good
Will,
theory,
even
though.
though Will could do it.
Yeah,
Will
Will
could
could
do it, of
do it,
course, right?
but
Dr.
I don't
Smith
think Will
obviously
would.
didn't do it.
No.
I don't think Will would do that, but
No, the
I
only answer is that the robot did it to himself. He wrote his own. He rewrote his own programming somehow, learning from Robbie, who could do the same thing.
Yeah, I
oh,
was just going to say that. And remember now, this is coming straight off of War of the Robots because he
the
wasn't out in last week's episode.
oh no, the AI's rising up. The AI's rising up against us, everybody.
Yeah, I
It's
guess he's
only
like
for.
it. Oh, go ahead.
Luckily, it's only for comedic effect. Go for it,
I think
Yes.
PvP.
maybe he is like an AI and he's actually learning and evolving, right? So could be.
Yeah.
That I agree with.
All right, can we catch up on chat real quick?
Sure, thank you, Gorilla.
And Basil's going, Scooby Doo was a great cartoon. I love Scooby. And Daniel says, I know, I love the OG Scooby Doo. Scooby Doo, where are you? But I can't stand what's new Scooby Doo that came out in 2003.
I second that, Daniel, and completely agree with that.
Hey, I'll take your 2003, raise you a 2021. Greg says, cheers.
Cheers, Ola Greg. I'll catch you.
And Basil says, hey, Goyler, how you doing? Doing good. Right, Pop uncut versions are far superior, says Oiler Greg.
You definitely, no comparison. Don't even try to watch the butchered versions.
Yeah, it says the extra information on the series definitely makes watching the shows more enjoyable.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. That's good. I always enjoy your input, everybody. If I'm doing anything that you would like to see more of or less of, definitely feel free to let us know. That's what we're here for.
All right. And he says, hey, there he is. Welcome, great robot.
Right.
Danger, Will Robinson. Arms waving wildly. Danger.
Danger, danger.
Robot with his arms wide.
That's a nice
Jill would say
nice
something.
Darmok reference there, Gorilla.
What? Darmok? Yeah, Darmok. Yeah.
Darmok, yeah.
And Basil says, hey, Euler, I sent you some interesting info about Monopoly. Okay.
Nice. Very, very cool. Thank you, Basil.
Cool.
So here we have with Dr. Smith saying the robot is doing our work. Dr. Smith says the robot's doing our work, and then robot says our work. You mean I'm doing the work? I can't remember exactly what it said, but the robot here's what we officially is talking back to Dr. Smith, and Dr. Smith is not having any of it, and of course he complains. But thankfully, he does not threaten to reprogram the robot or wipe out its memory banks.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, he did? Well, what am I talking about? Of course he did, more than once, and it won't be the last time.
Yeah.
And there's Stream Element Spot. Yeah, everybody check out definitely Skogley's, and that link should be working now. Hopefully, if I did what I thought I did correctly.
So can we just say that the robot gets the MVP just for laughing at back talking Dr. Smith?
I would say so. In this episode, absolutely, I would say the robot's a standout.
Yeah. That's why this episode gets the automatic A for the episode instead of my automatic F.
Yeah, he'll keep Dr. Smith in his place.
Yes.
There it is right there. You heard of only my computer is being cleared. So that's when the robot's laughing, and he's making kind of a robotic sort of laugh sound, and Dr. Smith calls him on it.
That's where the robot should have those those laugh tracks they used to use on sitcoms and stuff. They should have just had one of those programmed into the robot and just played the laugh track. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, they don't use them anymore.
Yeah, I think laugh tracks went out in the 80s sometime, didn't they?
Yeah, but
that's great. That's good.
This was made in the 60s, so they've had to have some sitcoms.
Oh yeah, no, back then everything had a laugh track. Everything had a laugh track.
Yeah, see, they should have had. Yeah. They should have had that in the robot there, just so that and just play the laugh track like it's a freaking like a 60s or 70s laugh track.
Yeah, if I remember right or correctly, the first series or television comedy, they got rid of the laugh track that was live. Was All in the Family. That changed the face of television in so many different ways, including getting rid of the laugh track. It was a live studio audience.
And Basil's agreeing about something. He says, "I agree," and big smiley face.
I'm glad you agree, Basil. I'm glad.
I kind of do like the robot's actual goofy laugh, though, in the show. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. It is. And the fact that he's not able to contain himself, it's great. And of course, and even the best of all, Dr. Smith's reaction.
I'm still betting that was Don.
Sorry, go ahead, Gorilla.
I still bet that was Don that did it.
Well, right. They'll never tell us who did it. But the good thing is we know from experience from the past prior episodes, how much you want to bet most of those interactions were probably written by Jonathan Harris as Dr. Smith. Because remember, they said that every time he got a script, he would rewrite it and hand it back to the script writer, and then the script writer would modify the script to what Jonathan Harris put in it. So I'm guessing a lot of that was what Jonathan Harris added, which is great, self-deprecating humor.
Could be, yeah. Actually, come to think of it, good point there, Pop.
As long as you got him more screen time, he doesn't care, right?
That's true.
And here we have Dr. Smith bowing down to the ruler, of course, calling him Your Majesty and everything else possible.
Hey, this is when they should just have the ruler drop his
bones crunching.
Kiss it.
Right. And of course, he's testing Dr. Smith's integrity, so he goes to shake his hand. And of course, being Dr. Smith, all you hear is bones crushing and Dr. Smith collapsing to the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, Smith's making a big mistake trying to impress him. It's just not going to work.
And of course, he says he's a little out of shape. Okay.
Yeah, if he's saying Dr. Smith's fat, he should see this keg I got on me. Because any whip kids carry a 6-pack. It takes a man to get a keg.
Right, but that's okay, Gorilla, as long as you've got a good, strong handshake, right?
Yeah.
Well, see, there you go.
So, Gorilla, are you telling us you don't have a 6-pack, you have a 12-pack instead?
No, I got the full cake. I got the full.
Well, there you go. I can relate, actually. Yeah,
I can't make a case out of that.
Well, that's good. Oh, man. That's funny.
Okay, here we go. And here, of course, the first thing Dr. Smith says is he'd like to try to make a deal with the ruler on getting a seat back to Earth, automatically assuming that I guess they pass by Earth all the time, and maybe they can just drop them off on their way. And I love this too. He's getting just like his son, getting very annoyed at Dr. Smith. He closes his eyes like he's getting a headache, and he says that Dr. Smith's chattering. Your chattering grates on my nerves. I love that. It would seem that Dr. Smith has none of these admirable qualities.
What I missed there was that he likes men to be strong and quiet.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Jill. Exactly right. The strong, quiet type. Yes. You know what? And that does make sense. It's usually the people that talk too much are the ones that show their ignorance. No offense to anybody out there, but just
It's kind of funny for
observation.
YouTubers to say this, but yes.
Yeah, the strong silent type was like an old cliched expression back in the 60s for sure.
Yeah, but I'd say in some cases it still stands.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you still hear it occasionally. Yeah.
Yeah. And like Jill said, no offense to any YouTubers out there. I'm not talking about anybody specifically. It's just an observation. I'm talking about the world around us, which is another great movie by Irwin Allen. I had to bring up and I had to mention that one.
You don't know which of us are actually quiet when you see us out in the wild.
That's true, right? Bet you they probably wouldn't know until they heard our voices. I don't. I speak rarely. Like when I go to pick up my prescriptions, they'll say your name, and I put my ID on the counter. I say there it is. So yeah, very minimal speech. I'll say hello when people say hello to me. I'll say hello to somebody, but I keep my dialogue to a minimum when I'm out in public.
Yeah,
Unless I'm with friends.
usually.
Yeah, unless I'm with friends like you guys, where I'm a little more comfortable with it.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same when I go out like grocery shopping or something. I'm just there to get the task completed. I'm not there to really chit chat, though I will say hi and have a friendly chat if somebody initiates one. I won't ignore them, but I'm generally not too wordy. Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's where my sister's a lot different. There where she'll sit there, she could talk to someone in the grocery line for an hour. Hell,
Well, I bet the people behind will love that.
That's my mom. My mom does that.
I personally watched my sister talk to a wrong number for 3 hours.
Oh God!
You're kidding.
It was a wrong number too.
Jeez, I remember one thing that would really embarrass me is when my mother was alive. We would be like at a public place, like a store or something, and from across the room, she'd say, "Hey, come and look at this!" And I just wanted to disappear. I just wanted to be invisible.
Especially when you're younger, right? That's the most mortifying thing to have
No,
allowed.
she did it all the time up until she passed away, and it
Oh,
still
God.
embarrassed me even then. And I kept begging her, "Please don't do that."
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, my mom was
But
just like your sister Gorilla. She would tell people in the grocery line her entire life story.
It all started when
Well, I don't think it was a life story. It's just random chat or
But
women talk.
what I mean is not necessarily her life, just that there was no filter for
Yeah.
what she would share.
I
hopefully
get
it
it.
didn't embarrass you. I got embarrassed. I was embarrassed many times by my mom. Yeah. No fortunate.
No,
I love my
it's
mother,
fine.
but it wasn't intentional.
It's usually okay.
Yeah.
Of course, it's our moms. What are you gonna do?
Because I'm working on getting the groceries on the line, so I just pretend I'm really busy. Oh, excuse me. Speaking of busy, I'll be right back.
All right.
Oh.
So,
I think that may have been the cat.
all right. So we got.
No, that was the daughter.
Oh no! Sorry.
I knew it's
That's
the
good.
daughter jumping up there.
That's funny.
And here we get John firmly shaking his hand, and he's direct with him.
Yes. Yeah, John is definitely. And when I thought about this, when I looked at this, the first thing that crossed my mind is, wow, a guy Williams must have been really tall because I know Michael Ansara was a tall man, but I don't know if they put intentionally put Guy Williams on something to make him look taller, or he just happened to be taller. But I thought that was pretty good. And physically, he is, I would say, at least a match for Michael and Sarah. As you can see, Michael and Sarah's got a little bit of a tummy, maybe, but if you'll see him when he like plays in the I Dream of Jeannie episodes, he's a muscular, strong man. So I like that, and of course we'll see a little bit more of Guy Williams' prowess later on in this episode, which is I think very cool. But yes, like Gorilla said, he's very impressed with John Robinson's strength. And he says, when you prove your superiority, you may brag and not before.
Yeah, he's yelling at Guano.
Yes. It also goes for Dr. Smith, you would think, right?
Yeah.
I just looked up Guy Williams' height. He was 6'2", approximately.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
And I think he's taller than. Yeah, I think he's taller. I think he was taller also than Major West. Major West character Mark Goddard.
Yeah, Don does seem to be shorter for sure.
Yeah. So other Greg says hi to Pop, Jill, PvP, and Gorilla, and the rest.
And the rest. Yes. Likewise, right back at you, Oda Gray. Good to see you there. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah. So it's a great panel tonight. And Sean said, give my mom 5 minutes and she'll come back with someone's entire family history and social security number. Now, the social security number isn't that impressive, and I'll tell you why. I was on Facebook, and someone posted on there, if your social security number was your bank account, how much money would you have? And people actually answered it. And I'm not talking a couple people.
You're kidding.
There was hundreds of comments with their with people's social security numbers on there.
They put them in there?
Yes.
That's bad. Wow. How dumb can some people be? Like,
because on Facebook, a lot of them use their real first name and last name. So I would say, not very smart.
Yeah, this wasn't just one or two. There was hundreds of comments with people's social security numbers, or at least what they claim were their social security numbers.
They're probably the same people that post what they ate for breakfast that day, right? Like anybody.
Yes, and have a picture of it, right?
Exactly.
Oh yeah,
and ask everybody for their opinion.
Yeah, exactly. Some of these people are the NSA's wet dream. There, like Facebook. There, what the NSA said that it was the NSA or CIA said that Facebook was their wet dreams because they could have found a better intel gathering information site than Facebook.
It probably goes the same way with Twitter and TikTok and all of them, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, that's why I try to keep any information. Like, you guys don't hear me say, "Oh, this is my sister, my brother, and I live in this address, and here's the name of my roommate." You won't hear me do that stuff. I just, especially family members, I won't say, "Oh, my sister so and so and my brother so and so." I don't do that. I don't think it's necessary, but I know some people do, and no offense if you do. That's totally up to you. Okay, so here we have continuing on with the episode, and thank you for helping me out with the once again, Gorilla, with the chat.
Yeah, no problem. It's all caught up.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and hide this real quick. I guess you were just doing the same thing at the same time as I was. So here's where we have the ruler meeting Professor Robinson, and this is where, of course, he's talking. Let's just say not so positively about the female gender, and thank goodness that we have Maureen Robinson speak up. I don't know about your world, but in ours, women are treated as the equals of men. Yes, and especially there in the '60s when all this was coming to the head. Laughs, of course. Of course, he's not taking her seriously, which is a shame. So, Jill, are you back?
Yeah, I'm here.
Question for you. Do you think they should have had at some point in this episode towards the end, and I don't mean to spoil this, everybody, but do you think they should have had a scene towards the end where the women redeemed themselves to where the men apologize, or do you think that would have been too much?
Which men should apologize?
Oh, the ruler.
Oh, the
and
ruler.
Quano.
That would have been kind of cool, I guess. Maybe if there was something that they could have shown their strength on.
Well, what they could have shown was Maureen. They could what they could have shown us having John and Maureen join them in battle with that damn creature there. there.
Well, you know what? They don't have to show physical strength because remember earlier where Will says brain is better than brawn, and or something like that. And so they could have defeated the monster maybe with something clever, using tools or something. I don't know. That could have been fun.
Yeah, but show Maureen and John side by side at the set a point to the ruler, defeating that creature thing.
Yes. Harris, this is from the book. Harris often took credit for not only the changes to his character, but the change pertaining to the interaction between Smith and the robot. It is likely that much of the verbal sparring between the two in this episode came from suggestions made by Harris. As filming progressed, he continued to doctor the script and send handwritten changes to Tony Wilson. In respect due to the shooting script for War of the Robots, Wilson submitted page revisions to CBS while the episode filmed on February 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8. Once he had approval from the network, he revised pages were sent to stage he inserted into the numerous copies of the script. The other cast members were well aware by this point that many of the script changes were being prompted by Harris. So yeah, that's what I figured. I guess I should have read that first. But I'm trying to keep up in the chapter as we go along with the episode. And I guess I was a little late with that one. I apologize. And I'm at the end of the episode, I usually show behind the scenes pictures. And there's going to be one that I'm going to share with everybody that shows what we were just talking about. If the women were given the ability to show their strength or their intelligence. I haven't gotten that far in the episode, but I will cover it when we get there. Oh, and also, I can't believe I forgot to mention this. 1 year before this episode was filmed, Kurt Russell interacted with a different group of castaways playing Jungle Boy on the episode of Gilligan's Island. You remember that, Gorilla?
Yeah, I think so.
Yep, he was on Gilligan's Island. So he started really young as an actor. So I give him props for that.
Well, filming with kids is tricky because they're not as experienced as the adults. They're so it can make filming with them very tricky.
Yes, that does make sense.
Yeah, because they're complaining about that on some of the Star Trek stuff. They're with the kid actors and that, and I know Lore Runners mentions that quite a bit.
Okay, very cool. Thank you. So as we see here, the ruler or Quano's father seems to be impressed, and he seems to. You can tell there's a sort of mutual admiration on the behalf of the ruler and Professor Robinson, and a certain amount of respect, which I like that. But neither of them is going to bow down and show the weakness in front of the other. So it's good, and I always had confidence, even as a kid, I always had confidence that Professor Robinson was a strong leader for the family. He could always defend them. So I think he's an excellent father figure. It's something that I think is rare these days. There's a lot of good fathers out there. It's just that Hollywood doesn't seem to portray them any longer, which is a sad, dying art, I guess you could say. But yeah, I always liked Professor Robinson. When I was a kid, he was like a second father. I think my two biggest second fathers back then was John Robinson and Captain Kirk.
Yeah, and Captain Kirk wasn't even officially a father in TOS, right?
Well, actually, when you look at the timeline, remember now, Wrath of Khan took place 15 years after the series, and look at the age of David, which was about in his 20s.
Yeah, so when you actually think about it, Kirk would have probably been a father when he was on the 5-year mission.
Right,
Yeah.
which means his son would have been around 10 years old, somewhere around there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Good call. That makes sense. Yeah, I never thought of it that way. The thing was, though, they just showed men as, strong, dignified, interesting, intelligent, resourceful, capable human beings, right? Back in those days. And it's like, whatever happened to that, It's like, wow,
Now it's toxic. That's the problem. Is now that with the current political agenda in Hollywood, all that you just mentioned is toxic. Unfortunately,
Well,
we know there's a lot of real men still out there. There's a lot of them.
Yeah. Well, they started turning men into like buffoons at a certain point in TV history,
Right, it was
right?
buffoons, and now they're just totally cowards and beta males.
Yeah,
Beta
and now
and
they're
yeah,
just jackasses. Yeah, exactly.
feminine. Right, there's no masculine qualities anymore. They're all feminine, and the
Yeah,
women are masculine. It's like they've taken and switched the roles. Right.
it's pretty strange. Yep, I can't argue with that point.
Yeah, I mean, even going as far as the women having male names. I mean, it's just way,
Huh.
way, way over the top,
Yeah, I
in my
won't
opinion.
mention a certain show, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
More than one, more than one.
Yeah. Oh God. Whatever
Okay,
happened to
so
our world? Anyway, back to the episode.
well, they're trying to divide families, is what it is, because it's part of reducing the population. That's just my observation.
Hey, I still got to say, I think the bald head wig looks pretty damn convincing here, Pop.
It does. Yeah, like I said, it'll be later on. I'll just say it's around the time they have the sword fight, and when they end the
Ah,
sword fight.
okie dokie.
Yeah,
We'll
and
have to
you're
see
right.
that.
Right, there'll be a certain angle where the light's shining right on it, and we'll be able to
Ah,
see
okay.
where the spirit gum starts, and I guess and his face ends or whatever.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. And Sean here says, I didn't get the impression Professor Robinson respected the ruler, but rather understood him and exhibited his own personal honor in this episode.
Yes, he does. Yeah, it's true, Sean. Yes, but also he doesn't show any weakness.
I
Look at
think
the way
Rob.
he's standing. Look at the way he's standing. I mean, it's obvious, right?
Yeah, he's putting his best, best effort forward, right, so to speak, his best foot forward to not show any weakness because he understands the kind of guy this ruler is. He's basically arrogant, privileged, probably came from a royal family, probably was a kid born into, to be the leader. So he has never actually really had to face any real adversity, even though, he brags about how tough and strong he is. But John, I think, has figured him out at this point, right?
Oh, definitely, absolutely. Unfortunately, yeah, this is a part, kind of like what Jill mentioned earlier. Is you could tell Maureen is not very happy. She thinks that John really should not be following along this path because John accepted the challenge from the ruler. And I know we kind of glossed over it, but in the prior scene, once again, Quanto was insulting Professor Robinson, and Will took that into offense, and that's when you saw that quick shot there where Will jumped on him, and the two were fighting, and they had to pull him apart. So we're showing that Will is just as wants to defend the family just as much as his father does,
Mm.
and like Quanto, he doesn't want to appear weak in front of his father, which leads us to this conversation here. Because Maureen, understandably, is like, basically saying, what are you guys doing? It's basically a pissing contest. And she's like, why are you guys doing this? And that's what Professor Robinson explains. Is he says that it's for Will's pride. If I tell him that he cannot fight, then he's going to think I don't have confidence in him. So I can see both points of view. It is dumb. It's primitive to accept the challenge. But what would it do to Will's ego if he doesn't, right? What
Al-
would his
al-
dad think?
I also think that Professor Robinson has basically no choice but to accept because if he didn't accept, he would appear weak, and the ruler and Quanto would just think that he's a weakling, and who knows what would have happened at that point, right? So I
Well,
think
yeah,
he
right.
just
And he doesn't want to appear weak in front of Will, right?
yeah, oh exactly too. He wants to support Will, of course. Your points were very very good. Um, but I just think he has no choice. He's got to go through with the challenge.
Right. And he does convince Marina that. And as him and Marina, it's kind of almost an argument, but not quite. It's a disagreement. And as they're talking, we had Don and Judy come up up the stairs, not the elevator. And unfortunately, did Judy get in line here?
I think she
Yeah, she
might.
does. She's like,
Yes,
what
she does.
happening? What's happening? I think it might be the extent of it.
What does the Stone Age have to do with it? I don't know,
Oh,
but it
right,
all
yeah.
made sense when your dad was explaining it.
Right. I don't know. Ask your dad. Right. Thank you for remembering that, Jill.
You're welcome.
And I don't know why, but I don't know what made me think of this, guys. Once again, I think it's the same as I mentioned during Jill's TOS stream. There's channels out there on YouTube, if you look at it, where somebody found the original Galileo and restored it, but it was all beaten up.
Yep.
And it's the same with the Jupiter 2. It was abandoned. And I can't remember if they completely found all parts of it, but people did search out and try to find the whole set of the ship because there was an exterior and an interior. It's just, just like with Star Trek props, they just threw it out and didn't care. They didn't think it would ever go anywhere. And that would be priceless now if somebody could get their hands on the actual original Jupiter 2, right?
Oh, it'd be worth a fortune.
I was just
Right.
keeping it quiet that I have all the parts. That's all.
Repeat is unethical. Their conversation may be. Here's where, okay, Quano and his father are talking off at a distance. And Dr. Smith and the robot are hiding behind the rock, as referenced from the chat earlier. Hiding behind the rock. And Dr. Smith is telling the robot to eavesdrop on them. So here's where the first time we're introduced that the robot has some sort of long-range listening device built in. And of course, at first the robot refuses, and Dr. Smith is not going to have any of that and insists on it.
He even tries. The robot even tries to pretend that it can't get through. It goes, bzz, but it's obviously not.
I was loving that because like, remember the old days when you said, when you wanted to get out of a conversation on the phone, go or crumpled up something, go, I can't hear you. I think we're breaking up.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, that
develop, as the series goes on, he does develop much more personality, as we'll see in season 2. He actually, I think, does get an episode or two where he's actually the star. He gets featured, which is a really good one. I remember a real fun episode. So.
I think we may be thinking about the same one. And that episode that you're talking about during the intro of this stream, you'll see it. I have a clip from that particular episode.
Oh, cool. I'll have to pay more attention next time.
Oh, no, that's okay. There's so many clips playing. I don't expect
you
that.
You do have a lot, yeah, but they're fun.
So here's what they're eavesdropping and listening to Quanto and his father. And Quanto tells them that basically if Professor Robinson and Will win the challenge, that he will have to destroy them, of course. It's our law. No one obviously can... He's the ruler of their entire planet. And it would be very shameful if the planet found out that he loses the competition. So that's basically their reasoning in a nutshell.
This is one of the things I wanted to talk about they're always talking about strength and courage and all that, but he takes the most cowardly way out. If you really wanted to show courage and all that, he'd be doing this in the Coliseum there in front of a crowd and having his son do the challenge there. But no, it goes off to a remote planet there, no witnesses, and if his son loses, it just kills witnesses and goes, oh, we'll do the challenge again next week.
Well, it may be perhaps, or they could have like cameras, right, that are doing like a remote telecast. But maybe the ritual between the father and son is a private affair to the family.
Yeah, but still, they're talking about courage and all that. If they want to show courage, then you do it in a Coliseum in front of vast amount of witnesses.
You've got a point, because I do basically describe this episode as a gladiator episode. And what's a gladiator event without a crowd?
Right, without spectators.
Very good points, guys. Yeah, I totally agree 100%.
And what's the answer? Budget. Unfortunately.
Yeah, no money for a cast of thousands in the Lost in Space.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Yeah, right. Right. They would have had a big giant ship with tons of their citizens crowding around them to be...
Yeah, exactly right. Rooting them on.
Yeah. No chariot races
going
either.
Wild. Throwing peanuts.
There you go.
I do not wish to continue. I was not designed to eavesdrop, says the robot. So that, as we can all see, this robot is already learning the difference between right and wrong, and what's appropriate or moral, which isn't, and which isn't. Which Dr. Smith even says is your misguided morals. Dr.
Smith thinks any morals are misguided, I'm assuming.
Well, and of course, that last shot there, that last still that Jill got, is when he heard them say that not only must they kill Professor Robinson and Will, but all witnesses. Of course, that's when Dr. Smith cringes, because he knows he's a witness right there.
Yeah, he knows his goose is cooked. Yeah, this is such a good episode. It's so much fun.
Yes, and like we said, everybody, I would highly recommend you watch this because you'll get full enjoyment. Oh, and another thing, I'll make it quick. If you don't have access to watch this, like for example, if it's butchered on YouTube or television, or if you don't have DVD or Blu-rays, we can supply a link where you can watch this online. Thanks to my good friend Gorilla here on the panel, he supplied a really good link where every episode is on there uncut. And that's how I've been currently been watching it.
That's how I found it too, through Gorilla. Yeah, he's got some good links.
Yeah.
Well, you can thank Pickles for that one.
Well, thank you too, LDG. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
LDG/Pickles/Job. So once of course, Dr. Smith has always got something up his sleeve. Once he heard over the eavesdropping that they'll all be destroyed if they lose. Of course, they pull out that,
They win.
Right.
They'll be destroyed
Or
if
they
they
win. Win, right? That's right, win. So Dr. Smith, unfortunately, has a secret agenda where they pull out that treadmill, which is, I guess, another thing they just happen to have space for on the Jupiter 2. They bring out the treadmill, and he's exhausting Will, having him exercise and work out. Go ahead.
Well, they gotta be able to exercise there once they get woken up from sleep.
Well, you can exercise, but it makes sense. I wouldn't over-exert myself the same day before the challenge.
No, but you said that like there's another thing they crammed onto the Jupiter too, but I could totally see that being on there for the exercise purposes once they got to Alpha Centauri.
Right, or when they're in space traveling, you're right. Because the astronauts do the same thing up on our space station. They have exercise equipment, especially when you're in zero gravity, right?
Well, if you don't exercise in zero gravity, your muscles are going to totally atrophy, right? So you've got to exercise.
Yes.
So let's catch up on chat here real quick.
Thank you, Gorilla.
Basil says, I concur, Euler. It is an interesting discussion. Mark says, when I flew for the USAF, if someone made a bad radio call, we would say, you are coming in weak and stupid. Usually the next radio call from the offender was textbook perfect. Hey, at least I bet you when you were in the airport there, you didn't lose an $80 million plane.
With no GPS built in. Yeah. All that money, and they couldn't afford a GPS or any kind of tracking device.
Yeah. That's just an embarrassment. Greg says, good point. And Herc says, a gladiator event without a crowd where I grew up is called a normal Tuesday night in Houston. Would that be just a brawl in Houston? He says, right, Greg? Exactly, Herc.
Okay, right. That brings me to a point I want to explain to everybody. I used to live in the Bay Area, and I used to get a lot of I was driving for Uber. I got a lot of interesting passengers. And there was one day where I picked up somebody who worked for Google. And we were talking about GPS and how the way GPSs work. So that's what made me think about the jet, is because he worked at Google. He was an engineer. And he said that the GPS, the Google GPS, like anybody uses Google Maps, yes, they work with the satellites that are around the Earth, the geopositioning satellites, but they are intentionally limited to where they will not work over a certain speed, like certain miles per hour, is what he said. They're intentionally limited, like a restrictor on a car's engine. And I asked him, well, why is that? He said, well, they wouldn't want someone to put it on a bomb or a plane and use it to guide it into something. So that might be the reason why there was no GPS or tracking device on that jet. Because when you think about it, there's no other satellites up there. Even the military doesn't have a geopositioning satellite system in orbit to track their own, unless they use radio waves or something like that. I was thinking maybe that's why it doesn't have actual GPS on board. Because they're intentionally designed, like I said, not to work over a certain speed.
Well, the problem is it's a stealth fighter, and if you put GPS on it, that could give away the jet's position.
That's another good reason, too. Yes, exactly, because that's something that could be hacked. But I digress. I know we're off topic, guys. Sorry.
Oh, do you want me to play the clip? Stay on target. Stay on target.
Well, I'm trying to. I'm hoping not to have to. So I'm going to try to see if I can keep a hold on what we're talking about. And of course, Don enters the fray from stage right and notices that Will's sweating and working out profusely. And he asks how long he's been working out, and the robot says basically 4 hours. I can't remember. I think he said he started at 0800,
Yeah, 3 hours.
3 hours. He said he started at 0800, and then Don immediately knows that something stinks. So he doesn't notice how he doesn't reprimand Dr. Smith in front of Will. He tells Will to hit the showers, and Will says okay, and he goes and takes off to take a shower. And now's where he's having words with Dr. Smith. And he even says, he goes, I know you're doing something, you got something up your sleeve. What is it? And of course, Dr. Smith will not tell him. Because remember, Dr. Smith heard about when he was eavesdropping the night before that if the Robinsons win, that they will be destroyed. And he doesn't want to tell Don that. But that's why he's obviously intentionally trying to have Will overwork himself where he has no strength for the challenge.
He wants to sabotage Will's performance. That's basically what he's doing.
Exactly right. And not only that, though, he's a boy. He doesn't have like growing muscles. It's not like working out's going to do him any good, right? You have to hit a certain age before you can start working out. And you're not going to be able to work out overnight and be all strong and in shape the next day. So yeah, that's why Don immediately recognizes that something's suspicious. But it's good that instead of giving away the secret, obviously, and ruining the plot, the robot does not speak up and say he's trying to, he's trying to work out Will, give away Dr. Smith's plot, basically. And I'm glad the robot didn't speak up and tell Don what's going on. So the robot kind of keeps it in, a lot of it, until a little later on, I guess you could say. But he doesn't. I guess what I'm trying to say is he doesn't embarrass or tattletale on Dr. Smith in front of anybody, but he'll do it to Dr. Smith personally to his face. And of course, Dr. Smith with his snide remark, and right. And here's Radon saying that he knows he's got something. And of course, Dr. Smith gives the robot that usual look. And here we have the family hanging out.
That's the line. Well, can we go back one there, Jill? Men are stronger and smarter, but women make the best coffee. It's like, wow, that's mind-boggling sexism right there.
You're giving some SJW an aneurysm.
That's hilarious. The dialogue in this is just crazy. Crazy.
Well, in this case, they're kind of making fun of the aliens.
Yes,
it's pretty funny.
And this is a decade before we had Mrs. Olson selling Folger's coffee, crystals, mountain grown.
Well, Jill's always talking about making coffee, so I guess she's probably actually really, really good at it. So
I'm not a coffee drinker, so I wouldn't know. But no, it's not true.
Yeah, I go for tea myself.
Yeah, there's really nothing to it.
Right, there's nothing you have to adjust. It's just the amount of coffee per water, and then you just put it in a device that makes it for you, right?
Hey, PvP, your British is showing.
Well, my mom was born in Britain. My mom was born in England, so I am officially 50% British. That's true.
Yeah.
So you grew up hearing her accent the whole time, right?
The weird thing was she came to Canada she was born in 24. She was 5 when her parents, they came over on a ship. In those days, you didn't fly if you were like poor. And so she got here, I guess it was 1929, just at the time when the Great Depression hit. So yeah, my mom had an interesting childhood and teenage years going through all that tough stuff with her parents, but they survived. Actually, they did quite well because, you could hunt game in the hills back then, right? Which her dad did. He would shoot pheasants and trap rabbits. And he had a big garden. So they did okay. And he built a house with his own 2 hands. He built a really nice little house. So I used to visit when I was a kid and a teenager, right, years ago. And
cool.
my grandfather, he fought in the trenches in World War I. Amazing man. Anyway, I don't want to, sidetrack the stream too much, but yeah, my mom actually did not have a British accent because she came over here at the age of 5. So she basically sounded like a Canadian, right?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And here we have the families hanging out in the Jupiter 2, and Quantum comes to pay a visit, saying that he's here. Basically, Professor says, "How can we help you?" And he says, "As a spokesman, I have a message for you, sent by his father." And I believe this is where I think, yeah, they're still talking about the challenge. I believe, if I remember right. The ground is good and firm, right? Failure of your son, so basically, he's telling him what'll happen if they don't show up.
Yeah. Hey, welcome, Phantom Boomer here. Can I read the
Hello.
chats real quick?
Thank you, Gorilla. Yes, and hello, Phantom Boomer.
Yeah, he said the Mayans had a game that they would kill the winner. It went on for days. Yeah. He says, what a
Wow.
cunning linguist. And Phantom Boomer says, well, this is peachy. My other account, the Phantom Boomer Explorers, appears to be blocked. Hey, did you get hit with copyright from those teaser trailers you put up on your channel there for to advertise your watch parties? That might have been it.
Yeah, please clarify, Phantom Boomer. Blocked on is it on YouTube, Twitter? I mean, what? I mean, what happened? Tell us about it. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Gorilla.
Jill's laughing at me. Hey, Jill, are you laughing with Edgetime or at Edgetime?
I'm laughing at his joke.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Yeah, that was a pretty cunning joke he told.
Yikes. And he says, Phantom Boomer says, well, I'm here, but on my other ID.
Oh, so it's YouTube.
Well,
Okay.
we're still glad you're here.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you came. Yeah, I'm glad you were able to come, Phantom Boomer, even with a different name.
It's probably an error, HBP, and on your chat.
My
Oh,
chat.
you're blocked on the. Did you get blocked by accident?
How do we fix that? How do we? Do we have to find out who blocked them and ask them to unblock? How does that work?
You gotta go into your studio.
Oh no, then I definitely didn't block them.
No, but to block them, you'd have to go into the studio, I think.
Even if I didn't block him, he would be blocked in my studio.
Yeah, I'd show you. I'll have to help you with that there.
Appreciate it. Yeah, that's terrible. I'm sorry about that, Phantom Boomer, but it was not intentional. Looks like Jill may be having a little bit of technical issues. She dropped out, and then the slides just afterwards, and it looks like she's back.
Yeah, if
There
a
we go.
moderator blocked him, then yes, you have to go into your settings and go to your community tab and check to see who's under the block list. And if he's under there, you can unblock him.
Oh, that's weird. Why would anybody block him? Like, I never block anybody. Like, well, they'd have to be really crazy if I was going to block them, but it never happens on here.
Sometimes your finger slips.
Not my finger.
Hey, Phantom said I have no notes from YouTube. Maybe Sean put with his phone in his pocket, accidentally blocked him.
It could be like when people sit on their phone or something and they like.
Right, but once again, though, wouldn't it? Yeah, but once again, wouldn't it have shown up in the chat where everybody was seeing it?
Where he's blocked?
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Right. Yeah, you would have seen it when it happened.
Yeah, good point, actually. Yeah. It's a mystery to me.
We'll get it figured out.
Right. The point is that you were able to come back, Phantom, and I'm glad for that. I'm sorry for the trouble, but yeah, after the stream's over, I will research and what's going on, and see if I can unblock it. I really deeply sorry for that.
Yeah. So, Herc here says, "Is this really Phantom Boomer? Want me to time him out, PCC?" Just kidding. Greg's laughing. He says, "No worries, has happened elsewhere. I just checked Studio. There are no messages from YouTube. Would they send them to my email? I don't know if they let you if they tell you that you've been blocked from a stream or not. Like if you go on your other channel there and look for Pop Culture Curator specifically, he just won't show up."
All right, or you won't be able to get in there. I'm guessing you wouldn't. Like when you try to get into the chat or the panel. Well, the panel you could get in because it's StreamYards, but I'm guessing the chat you wouldn't be able to get into because that's YouTube.
Well, he got blocked flat out there, then he'd be you would not show up at all.
Yes,
So,
that's true. Yes.
yeah,
It's my okay, gotcha.
yeah. Then they won't tell you you've been blocked. Yeah, and Scurvy's accusing PvP of blocking him over eggnog jokes.
I'd never
Fan-
do that. I
fan-
enjoy his jokes too much to ever block them.
Yeah, and Phantom Boomer says it's my evil twin. Funny story about that. Every once in a while, I'll
Evil
shave.
twin. Ooh.
Yeah, every once in a while, I'll just completely shave and cut my hair and all that. And then people look at me like wondering. And a couple of new people we had working at the restaurant there, they're they're look. They go, did you get a haircut? I was like, no, that's my no, I'm his brother George. George, he didn't freaking feel like coming in, so he paid me $20 to come cover for him. So then they'd be calling me. So all night they'd be calling me George.
So they bought it, did they?
Yeah.
Oh my.
Oh, the people that have been there for a while know I'm full of shit, but PvP here says, "LOL, Lemon. I'd never do that. I enjoy your eggnog jokes."
Just think, about a month from now, I'll be able to buy eggnog. Wow.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's fast approaching.
Oh,
isn't
you'll
it?
be able,
It's getting
you'll be
close.
able to refill all your vats, huh?
Well, I'll probably wait until it goes on sale. Bloody eggnog's too expensive, so I usually wait till close to Christmas before I actually really buy much of it. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see if they put it on sale.
And Boomer says it's a puzzlement. And Herc says, Boomer, is this just a phantom now? He says, I commented that you must have had fun flying SPADs for the Air Force. Then Scurvy says, Boomer's evil twin, Phantom Bomber. I bet he's always getting you in trouble, huh? Dang evil twin has stuck again. And Herc says, paybacks is a bit by plane. If Boomer says, I checked the email for the Phantom Boomer Explorers, nothing there for YouTube either. I have gotten immediate notifications when I am actively uploading things. So then,
Okay.
yeah,
Oh.
maybe someone accidentally blocked you in the chat.
Well,
Like,
wait a minute. If somebody here blocked him on the chat, that wouldn't stop him from uploading stuff to YouTube.
No. But they block him from doing anything on the channel.
So when you say uploading things, Phantom Boomer, do you mean to your channel on YouTube, or you mean like links to our panel or our chat?
Well, what I thought he meant when he said when his Phantom Boomer Explorers chat thing got totally blocked, I thought maybe he got his channel taken down.
We'll
But no,
that.
he must have accidentally gotten taken down in the chat. Then you won't get an email for that.
Also, sometimes YouTube just bugs out completely, and you just won't show up in the chat, even if you were never timed out or never banned.
Okay, I'm just the reason why I keep questioning is I'm getting suspicious because what a coincidence it happened on my last live stream to somebody else.
And I'll tell you what, the only way to solve that is to make him a moderator. If the Phantom Boomer Explorers wasn't a moderator,
he was absolutely, because he would drop links to his channel.
Oh
no!
If he was a mod, then he can't be blocked.
He can't be blocked accidentally. Yeah, a moderator can't ban another moderator unless you have the double tier moderator thing going.
Oh, well, thank you for clarifying that, Jill. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense. And yeah, because he was definitely a mod. He had a wrench. He was posting links. So thank you for explaining that. And yeah, I'm not sure what it is. It sounds like something else may be going on in the background. Oh,
by the way, I just want to mention Pop has posted the poll in the chat.
Yes, I just posted the poll, guys. I had forgotten earlier. I told you everybody ought to do that, and I just realized, hey, wait a minute, I forgot.
Yeah,
and
I just voted.
As I was working on it, we lost 3 viewers. I know we're going on kind of late here tonight. I apologize for that, guys.
Yeah. Jill, if you want to get the thing back up, I'll finish up the last 4 chats here. And he says, last time I saw Sarah was on B5 as a technomage. Cool. He goes, he was really shaving his hair then. Nice B5 reference,
I
Phantom.
wasn't shaving his hair then. It is a skinhead wig, guys.
Yes.
It's a rubber cap that he's wearing, held on by spirit gum.
Yeah. And Boomer says, yes, to my channel. If something I am uploading violate copyright, I get an immediate notification and they tell me on what timestamp needs to be edited out. Okay. It happened on Finity's channel earlier.
Well, I've gotten copyright warnings on my channel as well. I don't get any notifications. I usually have to go in and keep an eye inside my YouTube studio, like the next day or the day after, and then I will see where it's been stricken. But I don't receive any emails or notifications about anything, or at least I
Yeah,
haven't.
and you have to be careful about that because sometimes they'll take more than what is actually copywritten out of your video where you're actually just talking and the actual copyright content isn't playing. So you have to get the exact timestamp yourself of where the copywritten content is and change the timestamps.
Yeah, that makes sense. I appreciate it.
I let them edit something real on there. They took out of a 2-hour live stream. They left 15 minutes of it.
Oh no, that's disgrace.
That's bad.
Yeah, that's an extreme example of what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I wonder if that's an AI or just some vindictive jerk that doesn't know what they're doing.
No, it's AI. They just took the whole damn thing down. It says, horrible. Do you mean hit or blocked? And Oiler Greg says, it's a mystery, perhaps a glitch. Yeah, that sounded more like it was just a glitch then. B5, he was really bald. But that was quite a few years later.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so it was natural.
That would have been 94, I believe. No, Technomages. That would have been 92, I believe. And then Boomer says, so far I've only had one. I saw it in studio. Okay, yeah, that reminded me. I had to check on Friday's live stream there with the Waltons. And hey, I don't have to go bitch and moan.
And just a note of trivia: Michael and Sarah here playing the ruler was from Libya. So if anybody's wondering about his nationality, that's why you'll see that he's definitely got a darker skin color and the way he speaks. And shout out to poor Libya. My goodness, they've been going through some really horrible flooding right now. There's so many natural disasters going on. There's like an earthquake just a few days ago or something, and now Libya going through an extremely immense flooding. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, I heard something. There were thousands of people that passed away during the flood. It sounded really horrible. Yeah.
Yeah, there's pictures where there's buildings that are buildings, skyscrapers, and the water goes up like halfway. I mean, it's like a disaster movie, something Irwin Allen would have done.
Flooding can be very, very scary. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, here we have interaction between Dr. Smith and the robot. The bubble brain is getting completely out of hand. So of course, Dr. Smith does not like the way the robot's talking back to him. The robot alerts him that there's somebody nearby, and Dr. Smith goes to look and turns around, and there's Quanto. And he says, "If you move, I will fire." And of course, Dr. Smith not much of it. And here, by the way, I know I shouldn't have done.
I'm here and I will advance the slides, but I have to read a book to my daughter, so I won't be talking for a bit.
Okay, thank you, Jill. I wanted to point out, here's where it's obvious. I covered this last week, I mentioned, and you can tell it's very obvious that Dr. Smith, or Jonathan Harris, the actor, is wearing shoulder pads. And last week on Jill's TOS episode, there was at least 2 or 3 scenes where you can clearly see William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy's shoulder pads. So
yeah, they're pretty obvious.
Right. It's usually when they hold their arms up like that is when the shoulder pad. I mean, they look almost as bad as the Golden Girls.
They do look bad.
So why do they wear the shoulder pads?
Because it's a sign of masculinity. Sloped shoulders are a sign of weakness.
Yeah, he had sloped shoulders in real life, Gorilla, so that's why.
Right, okay. And it shows a sign of weakness, and they still use them to this day.
Yeah, but Dr. Smith this week.
Yeah, it kind of makes you wonder why they even bothered.
Well, remember now, I covered that last week. That was Jonathan Harris's insistence. Not only
Oh,
did he want the shoulder
right.
pad, right, but he also wanted darker colored clothing to hide his big butt. That was what he said.
Yeah, I remember exactly what you said last week. Yeah, thanks for reminding me, guy.
No problem.
Oh.
My
Uh,
father says a man who does not speak with directness is not to be trusted. So here's where Dr. Smith is trying to basically tell Quanto that he could throw the competition, basically cheat. And it's good that Quanto is seeing through this, and he tells him that his father would not be happy if he knew what was going on. And he tells Dr. Smith, I will, for your own good, pretty much, I will not tell my father what you're trying to do. Which makes Dr. Smith happy, of course. Well, here's where he's still trying to give him the old chicanery routine. I
yeah,
happen
he's
to enjoy it.
such a turncoat here, trying to undermine Will's chances. Like evil,
And
evil.
the family. Yeah, and the family, of course.
Yeah,
But of course, he's always got an ulterior motive, and we all know what that is. He wants to go back to Earth.
yep.
If my program is correct, he is much to be admired. He has principles, says the robot. And I have none. I have not. Do you insist on an answer? And of course, he says it once. And you will not remove my power pack if I speak the truth. Of course, the robot's worried about his poor power pack. Just answer the question. Oh, then I choose silence.
The robot's getting smarter and smarter.
Yes, exactly right. He's definitely not going to help build up Dr. Smith's ego. And this made me laugh harder. I think the hardest time, I think maybe out of all the episodes so far.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
What
That
did
was,
he blow in his face?
Dr. Smith will say that. It says, business, we hear a buzzing sound, then we get the smoke in the face, and then the robot loses power and of course, leans forward. And then Dr. Smith chastises him and said that you intentionally blew out your voice. I can't remember the exact word. I guess we'll get that in the next slide probably. But your voice modulator, your voice controller, whatever. So that's what basically happened is the robot blew out his voice controls so that he wouldn't have to answer the question. And he decided to do it in Dr. Smith's face.
Oh man, I love the robot this episode.
yeah,
And
that was a good
what's
moment.
interesting, I'm always curious about behind the scenes how they do things. And I'm wondering, okay, now did they like put a little tube up there with smoke, or as we know, Bob May, who played the robot, smoked cigars because I've mentioned before that he'll smoke inside the costume, and I'm wondering if that was just him blowing cigar smoke in Jonathan Harris's face, because they're obviously going to do whatever's quickest and easiest.
Yeah. Would they allow that back in the 60s?
Yes.
Oh, they would
Just
allow.
oh, well, remember they showed actually a lot of smoking back in the '60s, but on this family show, no, they weren't going to show smoking. But remember, they did on the one episode where they gave the guy cigars. Remember, he went and demanded cigars from the Robinson, and they gave him a whole box.
Yeah, no, but like nowadays, they get sued to oblivion there if they blew cigar smoke in someone's face.
Possibly, I don't watch modern day television, but I know they still show in period pieces.
Yeah,
I know Mad Men, they were heavy smokers because they were reflecting the '60s, but that was like Showtime or HBO.
yeah,
But I'm not sure about broadcast like ABC and CBS, the major networks. I'm not sure about that.
yeah. I just didn't know if they would allow if the actors would agree. Hey, I'm just gonna be smoking a cigar in here. When you're ready, I'll just blow the cigar smoke in your face.
Right.
I don't know if they'd allow that, but allow that.
I know, and for me personally, it makes me sick. If people do that with cigar or cigarette smoke anywhere near me, I can't do it. Not only do I cough and gag like Dr. Smith, but it screws up my stomach where I can't eat for several hours.
Yeah, I agree. I was a smoker for 20 years, and I can't believe I actually enjoyed it that long. Because now, if I smell, people that have been smoking around me, it's just like I got to get away. Because it makes me ill too.
Right? Or like Dr. Smith would say, violently ill.
Oh, you're all making me feel bad over here. Not like you
No,
have
we're
no.
not. No, we're talking about just us, Gorilla, not you.
Yeah,
You
but
can do what you want to do.
it sounds like you don't want to be around me.
No, do you, well, it depends. Do you blow smoke in people's faces? I guess would be the question.
Oh no, I'm not like the people that'll sit there light up walking through a big crowd and that I'll go off to the side, off to like the
Oh,
side
see?
street and that smoke.
Well, see
Well,
that you're a very courteous person. I wish all smokers were like you.
The thing is, you're a few miles away, Gorilla, so there's little chance you're going to blow smoke on our faces.
All right.
Hey, I'll get on a plane trip here.
Uh-oh.
Okay, yeah. Make sure you do that just to prove it.
I shouldn't give him ideas, should I?
Right,
Oh, geez.
that's a lot. But you're much more courteous than many smokers I know, Gorilla. So I give you
Yeah.
props for that.
Yeah, give you credit, man.
Yeah. Oh, it's just I
Oh,
just
and
don't
of
want to
course,
deal with people bitching too. So.
of course, and here's where once again, Doctor or Jonathan Harris gets to steal the camera, steal the scene by saying his usual trademark line, "Oh, the pain, the pain."
the pain, because he was bitching
Right.
about how far he had to walk.
And of course, we all know he's got this doctor's bag with him. And what's it for? Is he there to check on Professor Robinson? No, for himself, of course.
Yeah, hypochondriac Smith strikes again.
Of course. It has been many thousands of years since any of my people used so primitive a weapon.
Well, that's because he was complaining about them coming armed.
Yes, exactly. But of course, what we're going to get here is obviously they've got a better suggestion. And it's like, of course, behind the scenes, they're like, wait a minute, we got Guy Williams here. This guy's a master sword fighter. So let's just do a little bit of that. And I'm guessing, I don't know if it's mentioned in the story in the book. I haven't gotten there yet. But I'm guessing, I don't know if Michael and Sarah was already good at swordplay, but I'm guessing, using the word guess too much. But I have a feeling that Guy Williams probably gave him a few pointers there with that sword fight. What do you think, PvP?
I actually looked it up on Wikipedia. I looked up Guy Williams Zorro, and I do have it here handy, ready to go when the time comes to read some of this stuff.
Thank you.
And there is some very interesting background information on how Guy Williams, took it very seriously and did some very extensive training with the sword. But I will save that for when we get to that point.
Thank you. And that reminds me, I shouldn't have been jumping ahead. Because I usually try to keep it appropriate for what scene we're on. So I should have waited for that. So here's where we got our first competition between Quanto and Will Robinson, and it looks like they have a light pole where they struggle to lift it, or the other person is trying to, on the opposite end, is trying to push it down. And it looks like the competition is sort of going back and forth, and Quanto actually ends up winning it.
Yeah. Here, let's catch up on chat.
I
real
have to
quick.
step away for a bit.
Okay, okay, Jill. Go ahead, Jill, and I'll read some for the book after Gorilla does the chat.
Yeah. If Boomer here says I'm suspecting a vindictive jerk since it has happened before. I'm sorry, Boomer. Boomer says married to Barbara for a while. I don't know who that is.
Wait, let me look. Please check out. Oh, they call me nobody as a fellow YouTuber.
No. This chat.
Married to Barbara Barbara Eden, who played Jeannie in I Dream of Jeannie, blonde and beautiful, and she still looks fantastic, and she's in her 90s.
Okay, then Boomer here said men's suit coats had large shoulder pads for a stretch. I hated those.
Oh, they also wear lifts. I guess they're called lifts. Like anybody who I'm a fan of classic TV. Anybody who watches I Love Lucy, Desi Arnaz, which Ricky Picardo, was much shorter than Lucille Ball. So if you watch I Love Lucy, you'll take a close look. You'll see he has lifts in his shoes to make him make his height equal to hers. They tried to hide it, but there's so many times where they show his entire body, you can see the lifts in his shoes. Sorry, go ahead.
All right. Boomer says, if I find the F-35 in my yard, I'm keeping it. Hey, you might be able to get a pretty penny. You could just hide it there, then go, for $5 million there, I'll tell you where that F-35 is.
Well, remember now, supposedly it's flying under automatic pilot, which means I don't. Okay, commercial airline. I know, like for example, a 747. The automatic pilot is so advanced; those planes can even land themselves. I just don't know if that fighter jet is designed to do that. May or
Yeah.
may not.
Well, that thing has to be out of fuel by now. And if no
Oh
one's
no,
seen,
yeah, that's clearly true because it happened several days ago. So yeah, it's definitely not up in the air still.
if no one's seen, we managed to catch all kinds of things on camera there. Hell, they even caught what's his name, Prosins or Prisoners or where the hell that guy's name was. They managed to catch his plane being shot down over Russia there.
Oh
So
yes.
you're telling me that people actually look for the F-35 didn't catch it on camera that it crashed? It's either
Well,
in
here's
the
what's
ocean.
interesting. Right, and that's what I was just going to say. That the fact that we have not heard, there's only two possibilities, and that is it landed in the ocean, which would be very convenient, or it crashed, and the government doesn't want us to know the scenes behind where it crashed. Like maybe it landed on a school or a neighborhood, and they don't want to tell us that
Uh,
because they're afraid of the backlash.
they wouldn't be able to hide that. They would not be able to hide that. If it landed on a school or in any town, they would not be able to keep that quiet.
Well, they can hide UFOs. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, you might be right, but I don't. I just don't trust the government anymore.
if it crashed in a remote area, they might be able to contain it and hide it. But if it crashed in a town or on a school or anything, people would know. There's no keeping that quiet. That there's too many. It'd be too many people to keep quiet.
Well, the thing is, you have not only the official media that would probably report something like that, you've got the unofficial media like on Twitter and Facebook and all the rest of it, guys, right? That everybody blabs to everybody about something like that nowadays. So yeah, you'd
You'd
never
hope.
cover that up, Corella.
Yeah. And
So
Sean
then
said,
the only option then is out in the middle of nowhere, right, or the ocean.
yeah. Or somehow, if you want to get really conspiratorial, it ended up in some people's hands it should not have ended up in. But that's totally conspiratorial. But
My theory is it was kidnapped by a UFO.
yeah, you're still in bird saw because you said the aliens abducted it to get so that they could get their shit back.
They're
Yeah,
studying.
right.
They're
Yeah,
studying
but
our.
yeah, that's like a person who owns a fleet of Rolls Royces and Maseratis and Teslas and all that, stealing a bicycle. Why would you do that?
And then it ended up in the Delta Quadrant, and the Starship Voyager came across it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh
Sean says I
boy.
quit smoking 7 years ago, and not a day goes by that I don't miss it.
Same here.
Yeah.
Best decision I ever made.
Me too.
No, I
Me
think
too.
he says he missed. Okay, 'cause I love when people light up near me, take a little whiff. Ah. Yeah,
Ugh.
Boomer says, Gorilla, just don't blow smoke up our butts. Hey, that costs extra, and I'm not that desperate for money yet.
Yet.
Oh brother.
Yeah, Basil says, I can't tolerate it either. My brother smoked Marlboro 100s like a chimney. It was miserable. Well, that sucks there, I guess.
Miserable. My mother smoked menthol 100s.
Yeah. And Boomer here says, if it crashed in an unfriendly nation, which is pretty much all of them anymore, we'll never hear about it.
Yeah,
Definitely.
their powers of covering things up are immense, so I wouldn't really dismiss that.
Yeah. It just depends on how conspiratorial you want to be. And Nemesis says, definitely a B kind of episode to me. Oh, this one's gotten an odd. This one's. Yeah, we'll wait till there. Sean says, I think it's more likely it was brought down in a remote area and they're on their way to get it and don't want it to be advertised. Well, then they should have just shut the hell up about it and nobody would have known.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. So, Sean, you think that it was brought down? In order to be brought down, they would have to locate it, and if they were able to locate it, they wouldn't ask the public for help. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
And Boomer here says, conspiracies abound. I quit in 83. Cool.
That means you quit for 40 years. That's amazing.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Disco Stew doesn't advertise. And Herc says in South Carolina oscillation because that is where it is. Clip this and you will know. Yeah, I know, but it could have. But when it's on autopilot, it could have gone anywhere. It could have been headed south and it could have landed in Cuba. And then Cuba ships it off to China.
Well, remember now, they've got so much of our technology we left in Afghanistan. They don't need it anymore.
Yeah,
I'm
and
sure there's plenty of those left in Afghanistan.
yeah, and I don't not get this I do not get this at all. So Sean Connery, yep, Ice Station Zebra all over again.
And that's a good movie. And I'm looking at I'm scanning over the production notes on this episode, and yes, the quote "bug creature" from the cave that we mentioned earlier is definitely a recycled mask from The Fly. So yeah, we were right about that one. So that is confirmed. Sorry, go ahead, Gorilla.
Yeah, we're all caught up.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And it's like representing of every boy from Earth. So Will is telling him, Dr. Smith, that he would feel ashamed because he feels like he says that he's representing. Hold on a second. Give me a second, guys. There we go. Thank you, Gorilla.
Oh.
Sometimes I wish you were a little less honest. Life would be a great deal easier. Of course, Dr. Smith, once again, you got to remember, Dr. Smith is going from one person to another this entire episode, trying to get them on his side to throw the competition. And fortunately, none of them are going to have any part of that. Jill, can you go back to that last frame? Okay, no, all right. Go ahead, continue. Sorry. I had to take a look. There's a behind-the-scenes photo with Dr. Smith that I guess is not in this episode.
Yeah. Now they're doing that shooting contest. They're coming up or around this time. You know, I'm surprised they only had them do one shot because anybody, if they aim, they could probably hit that bullseye right on the shot. But they could probably do 10-shot rounds like they do in a lot of shooting competitions.
Yes, but as you can see, the ruler he throws it over his shoulder and then he gets a bullseye. And now he mentions the bolta blades, and I'm guessing bolta stands for like bolts, like electricity.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And I love the fact that the machine there in the background between the two men, it is what the bolta blades are hooked up to, and it looks like a big pot, like a kettle. And I thought that's okay. I guess I'm supposed to get the idea that it's like a generator. And here's what we mentioned earlier. This is sort of a precursor to the lightsabers in Star Wars. 50,000 bolts. Well, remember, that's enough to definitely kill you.
No, that's a standard taser. That's a standard taser.
Right. Well, bolts are not what kill you. It's amps.
Yeah.
So, go ahead, Joe. You trying to say something?
Well, yeah. These swords are actually connected to a voltage source so that they create real sparks.
Yeah, I thought about that too. Because as a kid, I remember the sparks, and then as I started watching the episode, it started coming back to me, and I was thinking, now, are they going to use special effects or is it sparks? And I think they're actual sparks. So I think they may have ran negative on one side and positive, or on one blade and then positive on the other.
Yeah, but that 50,000 volts there, it's not, it won't kill you unless you have actual health problems there. The cops use that in their tasers and all that. But I will tell you, it hurts like a bitch. I can tell you that for a fact.
Oh, and from experience?
Oh yeah, because my aunt had a taser for because of where she worked in Dallas and all that. I asked her how badly does she was showing it to me, and she's showing the architect. I was like, how badly does it hurt? She goes, you tell me, and she tased me.
Oh my God, I can't believe she did that. It's insane.
Oh, I kid. I was dumb enough to ask.
You know what? There's a video on YouTube, and it's very shameful because it shows these two cops trying to subdue a suspect, and there's a man and a woman cop, and the woman
Don't
accidentally
tase me, bro.
Well, right, the woman accidentally tases the other cop. And what he does, he drops down, weak, and acts like he's getting ready to pass out, And then he actually says that the suspect threw fentanyl in his face. And then he had to be rushed to the hospital with an overdose, and they had to give him Narcan and all this other garbage. And then they found out, of course, they could only because a citizen was recording the whole event. Then it came to light that both cops lied to cover up for the lady that actually got the guy in the leg. And they not only dropped all the charges against the suspect, but unfortunately, they're still pending whether they're going to fire the cops for falsifying reports. Anyway, go ahead.
Was that actually true? I thought that was a Reno 911 skit.
That's possible. I don't know. I haven't seen that show.
Yeah, welcome Canadian Spider-Man there.
Hey, Spidey, good to see you.
He's here. Hello.
Well, if you want to see how stupid people are, there's a video I could show you later there of a guy. It's called the Taser Challenge, and what he did was he stuck a butter knife in his mouth there. Then he grabbed the butter knife. Funniest damn shit I've ever seen.
Well,
That sounds like he could have killed himself.
Right, it's a good thing it was his mouth and not somewhere else.
Well, it's called the Taser Challenge. Like, if a person's stupid enough to do these damn challenges and that, they deserve what they got coming.
I completely agree. Did you guys hear? Did you guys hear about that one?
Wait for a minute.
Oh no, that's okay, PvP. That's fine. Did you guys hear about that one idiot that he did the supposed one chip challenge? And the challenge was not to drink anything after. So because of the complaints from one person, him doing something stupid, they pulled him off of all shelves and they're now banned. Did you guys hear about that?
Yeah, I heard they got banned, but I didn't hear about
man, I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, because of one fool on TikTok. So who's the bigger fool? The guy on TikTok or the guy that banned it, the company?
Well, if they're going to start banning things because people do stupid things with objects from TikTok, then we're not going to have anything at all. Everything.
Right, exactly right.
Yeah, that's
all right.
I mean, when somebody slams their hand in a door, are they going to start outlawing doors?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, let's catch up on chat real quick and let's get back to this episode here because it's pushing 10:40. So,
yeah. Oh yes, thank you, Gorilla.
Yeah. Did it land or crash in Baja Carolina? And then Edge Time says Walmart had Christmas trees set up and for sale on 9/11. There's a joke there somewhere, but it's not coming. Oh, that's because Walmart's a piece.
It's September and Christmas is in December. Oh, yeah, that sounds like Walmart.
I thought it was bad enough they're putting the shit up before we eat the damn bird, and now they're putting it up way before fucking.
Language, please.
Sorry. That just it's getting ridiculous. There, or it takes me off of the one holiday at a time.
Honestly, I don't mind as long as they wait till after Halloween.
Well, when you think about it, though, who's to blame? And that's the public. If the public wouldn't buy this stuff, they wouldn't do it. They only do it because they know there's a demand. So the public, once again, are to blame.
Well, the thing in Canada, guys, is I remember like we have a store called Canadian Tire that basically sells all kinds of stuff. They're kind of like a Canadian version of Walmart in a way. And
well, we have a place here called America's Tire. I wonder if they're related.
Could be. I really have no idea. But anyway, I just want to quickly mention, like about I'm guessing maybe 20 years ago, for some reason this store decided to put their Christmas trees up in like July. It's like Christmas in July, right, guys? And I think they only did it for 1 year because they must have got so many complaints.
Good.
They didn't do it the following year, so that's maybe a difference here in Canada because they wait till the day after Halloween. November 1st is when the trees generally go up here, so I'm okay with that because that's kind of the Christmas season, right? November, December kind of thing.
Yeah. And Spider-Man says, "Great to see you get pop culture." And panel, great stream last night, Jill.
Thank you,
yes,
Spidey.
I agree. Right, Jill did a fantastic tribute to Cardinal Sin.
I wanted to personally thank Jill for that wonderful stream last night, and I was probably a little too inebriated because
You're welcome. I did also have two people who were inebriated at the same time, and so there was a bit of clashing at that moment. But I wanted
only two.
Well, no, there was you're right. There was three, but the Scotty was fine. I'm specifically talking about someone else who.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
But
I won't
he-
say any names.
But the reason why is I wanted to make sure that he had his chance to say what he wanted to say about Cardinalson, and he was able to say a few things, and once I felt he had enough, I let him go.
Yeah, and Jill
Yeah.
streamed at the exact hours I was asleep.
I really, boy, I was suffering this morning because I got like 7 hours sleep because I stayed till the end. But
Yeah.
it was worth it because I just had to get stuff off my chest and listen to everybody else talking about Gil, and I'm still having a hard time processing it, to be honest, guys.
Oh yeah, no, I'm nowhere near done. That's why
me too.
everybody's having a stream about it because
All right.
we can't. None of us can believe it.
It did help. It did help, Jill. So I wanted to say thank you.
Yeah, and
You're
Nemesis
welcome.
and Nemesis here said it sounds like Darwood Awards material. Yep.
I agree. Yes.
I was streaming Starcraft Irons podcast. I'll do a stream for Cardinal Sid soon. Okay, we'll keep an eye out for it. Edge of Time says I see. Is October 1st Eggnog Day in Canada?
I think it's towards maybe the third week of October when it starts to show up on the shelves. Actually, lemon. So,
All right.
Spidey,
Was that
when you know
lemon?
you're
I missed who it was. Oh shit.
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
ready for eggnog.
Yeah, and Boomer here says, "What are you going to do when you're living in Mexico more that you're living in Canada? Mexican Spider-Man is already taken." It actually didn't go off the rails considering the percentage of the panel
Yeah.
that was a bit off.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, lemon pie. It went great. I loved
Yeah, I
it.
don't think I was too crazy
Well,
last night, hopefully.
I might have hopped on for a couple minutes there, but you streamed at the exact hours I was sleeping.
It was
Literally.
late.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
what time did
understandable,
you
Gorilla.
start, Jill? It was
Well,
quite late.
yeah, it was late. After
Yeah.
12:30 midnight.
No, it
But
was 2 to 5 there because I woke up and it said just streamed an hour ago.
Yeah, I think
well,
it was 10:30 my time, I think, when it started, if I remember.
Oh,
yeah, it started at 12:30 a.m.
Central.
Yes, Central Time.
Yeah, 10:30 here.
and Boomer says I had to just post something on Gil. Couldn't talk about him live.
Mhm.
Yeah, I did a quick one there because I didn't know him very very well. So I just did a quick 6-minute tribute. I didn't want to repeat myself, so I made it short, sweet, to the point. There,
And that's good too.
and Scurvy says PvP was the least soft. So I'm gonna have to finish the stream tomorrow there because I had to
Okay.
quit partway through because something happened where I had to change. I had to turn my phone off. Then I ended up going to something else.
Thank you, Lemon. I just want to say I've been trying to work on not being too sauced on live streams anymore because I know I had a bad habit for a while there, and I'm really trying to work on getting it all under control, so to speak. So thank
That's
you
a
for
good
your
goal.
comment. I appreciate it.
Good
Yeah,
job.
I've been
PvP.
indulging too much. I realized that over the
All right.
in the last few weeks. It's like, yeah, but I'm trying not to do it anymore. So anyway, we have
There it
the
is,
sword
where you
fight.
can see
there's what Pop was talking about. That
I was
Yes.
wondering what that thing was.
What that thing was. Yeah, that's called
His
Yeah, that
head.
does look bad. It's kind of sad. Like most of the episode, it looked great, but they must have just like had to slap it on real quick for the scene or something because it looks horrible.
Well, and like I said, it's also the lighting. It kind of gave it away.
Kind of a glare.
Such is Hollywood.
Did you want me to read any of the stuff about Guy Williams training with the sword?
Feel free to anytime. Yeah, feel free to.
Yeah. Okay. I will quickly go over that. Zorro 1957, 1959, and then they did 4 specials from 60, 61 on the TV show. Anyway, I'll just quickly go here to some of the interesting stuff. The exclusive contract paid Williams the then very high wage of $2,500 per week, equal to over $26,000 today. Williams resumed his professional training in fencing with the Belgian champion Fred Cavans, who also trained Douglas Fairbanks, Errol Flynn, and Tyrone Power.
Oh.
Since the show required sword fights in most episodes, he also took Oh, and he also, okay, so that's the end of the sword stuff. He also took guitar lessons from the famous Vicente Gomez, because he actually did actually play guitar in the show as well. And yeah, I've been trying to get people to watch that show, but I don't know if I ever will. Maybe if I actually get around to doing live streams, I'll maybe do a weekly Zorro, showing. Because yeah, but Fred Cavins, yeah, he was, let's see, 1882, 1962. So, gosh, he was actually training Guy Williams not too many years before he passed on. Um, but yeah, I won't go into much more detail. I guess that's all I really need to cover. But he was basically one of the most, respected sword, fighters. I mean, look at the people. I mean, he trained Fairbanks, Flynn, and Power. Like, you're talking like royalty there, right? So yeah.
Definitely.
And Guy Williams, I urge anybody that's interested, even curious, to watch the show, because it's not a kid's show. Like, I watched it. I guess I found it. I probably was 5 when I found it in the early '60s, and right away, even as a kid, I knew this was not a dumbed down show. That this show was written for intelligent people and basically adults. And back when Disney did quality entertainment, right? And Guy is amazing. Like, he's really good in Lost in Space. I love him in Lost in Space, but my heart's always going to go to him as Zorro, because he just had such a flash and an appeal and a swashbuckling style with the mask, and the cape and the great sword play. And he had he'd smile, $1 million smile, like a mile wide, right? He had such a beautiful smile. And the supporting cast were all great too. And instead of doing episodic, they actually would do continuing storylines that usually lasted around 15 episodes. I think they did like
Uh-huh.
maybe 4 or 5 of them during the series. So it was really a show ahead of its time in some ways. So it's a great show. I highly recommend it. And I guess that's about all I have to say. I don't want to hold things up too long. So
Thank you for sharing that with us, PvP. I appreciate it.
I love Zorro. That's why I couldn't, and it pertains to this episode's sword duel, right? So.
And the character goes way
Definitely.
back. They've had some good movies and things based on Zorro. So yeah, the character's been around a long time. And Guy
Oh, a long
Williams did a
time.
really good job portraying him. Yes. Okay. Let me go back. I'm getting prepared for the end of the stream. I apologize, guys.
Yeah.
So here's what we have, where it looks like Professor Robinson actually was the winner of the Volta Blade competition, which really makes the ruler realize what's going on. Now remember, earlier the ruler said that if the Robinsons were going to win, they and any witnesses needed to be destroyed. But I'm guessing that at this point they resolved that issue. That apparently, let me word this right. They don't really give us a closing to that specific plot point. They don't show the ruler, Michael and Sarah's characters, say, "Okay, we're not going to destroy them," or any of that. The only thing we get is we get that little bit of look on his face, and it's just dropped. There's no more mention of that in the rest of the episode.
It's true.
And here we are back with the ferocious, the beast in the cave. And once again, the boy's going to go challenge the beast, and he's got his father with him. And this is his opportunity to show courage in the presence of his father, that is. Okay. Oh, come on, phone. I'm trying to get ready for the end of the stream here. Bear with me, guys.
As an artist with a bachelor's degree, I found this scene hilariously weird. It was so
No,
fun. Oh, excuse
I
me,
got
so effing funny.
yeah,
It was really good.
I got mad that they never showed what happened to to Guano and his father.
Yeah, that's just it. They showed them in the cave. And that's what I was wondering. Of course, I didn't get to read everything from this book. I'm wondering if it's something that was in the script that they didn't really resolve what happened, or if they just, I don't know, were they running out of time?
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? It's like there was another episode I think where they did that, where they ended it and there was no like conclusion to the storyline or the characters, right? I can't remember the episode now, but
Yes.
I remember a previous one that did that too.
Yeah, it kind of leaves you wondering. I'm not sure if people really realized that back in the '60s, but I know us now watching this through current time, we kind of wonder a few more of those plot points that are seem to be less straggling.
Well, it would have been nice if the ruler and Quanto had come up to the Robinsons Jupiter 2 ship at the end of the episode and said, maybe we misjudged you too harshly. You're okay. Or kind of patch things over in a certain way, and then they left. That would have been a better ending, I think.
Now, should we
Right, and
go on?
that's why I was. Go ahead, Gorilla. Thank
I
you.
was gonna say, should we go on the darker side here and think that maybe they died and just don't want to show it on TV?
Well, I don't know if it would have been that. I don't know
Yeah,
if
I
it would
don't
have been
think so.
something. Yeah, Judge, I think they were a little aware that the censors wouldn't allow that, so I'm guessing probably not.
They have little blinker lights on their necklace that they can press to get to their spaceship.
I thought that
Right.
was communicators.
Well, it can communicate for their subjects to come and get them.
Right, maybe
So
they're calling
you're
for a ride.
so you're saying, Jill, that actually maybe their spaceship deposited them on the planet and went back
Yeah,
to
like a
their home
taxi
world,
service.
right? And then they just called, for service. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. This is a very cool,
But they don't explain it.
very cool trailer at the end here.
Or
Yeah,
the cliffhanger for next week.
yeah. Dr.
Yeah,
Smith's
it was
art
very
is
cool.
so bad that it drew up a windstorm just to get rid of it.
Yeah, the planet itself was offended.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I really did like the laser sword battle, though. I thought the special effects were really, really awesomely cool. Especially when the ruler chops that tree in half or whatever, partway through the battle. It's like that was really cool. Really, really good effects. Really well done. Practical
I completely
effects.
agree. Yes, and exciting,
Yeah.
especially if you're a kid, right?
Oh, yeah. Even as an adult, I still love it. It's still such a good, well shot scene with all the what's going on. It's just like, man, well, the thing is, a lot of the guys doing TV back in the '60s came from doing Hollywood movies and stuff, right? Because they were like pros. They knew all the stuff. They knew how to do it right. They knew how to do practical effects, properly, and they were highly skilled craftsmen, basically, in their profession. And it shows on screen back in the '60s shows. It's like, these guys, once were doing like major Hollywood movies and they figured it all out back in like the '40s and '50s. And then they moved into TV, right? When the movies were starting to die off because TV was taking its place. And I just love the quality of the shows back then. There's really something special about them for me, anyway.
Well, I agree. I totally agree. And as a reminder, everybody, there's a poll in the chat. If you haven't already voted, please do so if you get the time. And if you like the stream so far, we're going to be wrapping it up here in a moment because I know for some people it's really late and they have to work tomorrow. So yeah, if you can vote the poll and maybe hit the like button, and if you haven't done so yet, consider hitting subscribe to the channel. And subscribe. Yes, I think you'll be glad you did. We've got a lot of content on our channels, and plus a lot more to come in the future. So I don't think you'll be disappointed, or at least I hope not.
Yeah, I got 12 votes in the poll I'm looking at here, Pomp. So that's pretty good.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm glad I remembered to put it. I know it was kind of late getting it up there, but I'm glad I finally did. So thank you guys for that.
One time I asked my mother-in-law to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and she said, "No, thank you. I don't want to pay for anything." I'm like, "It's free."
Jeez,
well, at least,
wow.
Yeah, at least you
Kind
didn't
of
say
an
what's
insult from your mother-in-law.
At least you didn't say what's YouTube.
That's true. Didn't go that far.
So did you tell her that it's free, and did she subscribe after that, Jill?
I don't know. We weren't at a computer or anything. I was just talking about it. Or
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Well, it's cool that you got so many subs, you and Pop. Man, you guys' channels are kind of exploding lately. It's pretty awesome, really.
Yeah, I think we're very lucky, and of
Well, for
course
me,
we
for
go ahead,
me,
Jill.
it's been growing steadily every month. But what pushed me over was going on the Mr. Brown Alliance channel. So that was pretty great.
So yes, Mr. Brown Alliance, wherever you are, thank you for that.
He's amazing.
I guess that's the way it works. So the more channels you go on, the more people you meet, the more people you get to know, the more people you have fun with. I mean, it's bound to kind of snowball like that. I would think, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
basically,
networking is a big part of it.
yes, networking. That's the word I was searching for.
Mhm.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm guilty of. I for someone who doesn't get out enough, and I need to do that.
No, but you didn't. I guess either networking or one video that really hits it, and so you got the other.
Yeah, I guess I lucked out, but I
Yeah.
do need to network more and get out on more channels.
All right, should we catch up on chat here before we go
Yes, go
to
ahead, Gary.
final thoughts?
Go
Yes,
for it, girl.
we're gonna cover the last of the chats, and then we're gonna give our reviews and then share the poll. Thank you, Gerla.
And Spidey says, "Boomer, that will take a while to make that dream happen. So I guess I'll have time to figure it out." He says,
Oh, that's
"Nemesis did
true.
well under the circumstances today."
Wait, we don't see that.
Yeah,
Is it my computer? Is there something wrong with my computer? Yeah, it's my computer. Sorry, disregard.
yeah. And Scurvy here says, "PvP, you were fine last night."
No, thanks,
Agreed.
Lemon. I appreciate it. Thank you too, Jill. I appreciate it.
Boomer says, "PvP depends on the sauce. If you were using barbecue sauce, nobody would notice."
I very rarely drink barbecue sauce, to be honest, guys.
Yeah, it doesn't sound very
But,
appetizing, guys.
hey, wait! Did you guys catch that? He says very rarely, so he admits that he has done it.
I was being satirical there.
Oh, you
I
did
do
do
not
the
drink barbecue sauce. Oh
so
God!
you didn't
Here we
pull.
go. Here's another one. Lemon's going to have a field day with that comment, isn't he?
So
Oh,
you're not
Jesus.
pulling the Super Troopers?
Super Troopers. I'm
Oh,
not
where they
familiar with.
where they drink the maple syrup.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you
Well,
haven't seen
Ooh.
I don't think I've seen Super Troopers. I have big holes in my watch list. I've told you guys this
all right,
before.
PvP. Uh, we'll do a special watch party of Super Troopers just for you. We'll do it on a weekend or whatever day works for
It's
you.
Yeah,
it's really funny. It's a good movie.
Oh,
If
that'd be
you like,
great.
if you like,
Oh, it's a movie?
yeah, it's really funny.
It's like a comedy cop movie, is it not? Something like that.
Yeah, and it's difficult to get me to laugh, so it's good.
Hey,
Really?
well, we
Just
should have had you
difficult
come
to
to
get
the
you
end
to
of the year
laugh?
last night.
Well, I mean, okay, maybe not. Maybe I am easy to amuse, but for some types of humor, that type
Well,
of
it seems
humor,
like you
I
laugh a
usually
lot.
don't get it.
You seem to laugh a lot on live streams, so I've noticed, Jill. I don't know.
Interesting. I just pulled it up on Internet Movie Database. I don't recognize any of the actors, so it looks like either I'm out of touch or they're mostly unknowns. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm vaguely familiar with the movie, but I
It's
don't
a
know really jack about it. So
crowdfunding movie. It is a crowdfunded movie.
Oh, well, that
okay.
explains why it's a good movie then, instead of being written by the typical crop of Hollywood writers, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Boomer says,
I'll give it a watch.
yeah, it's really funny. I recommend. Boomer says, out of the night when the moon is full bright comes a horseman known as Zorro.
Oh, that's the theme song. That's the theme song. It's such
Oh,
a good theme.
and
Great
Scurvy
theme.
says some were sauced, others saucy overall. People were fine though. And Jill gives a heart to Scurvy. Jill's smiling, or Scurvy, or smiling at Jill. And Boomer here says Basil Rathbone was a swordsman and admitted to being outmatched by Danny Kane in the court jester.
Yes, he's referring older actors back in the day. In Errol Flynn, you're right, Basil Rathbone, Danny Kaye, all of them were also master swordsmen.
Yeah,
Back then, that was before they used stuntmen for everything.
yeah. And Boomer says that was so saber fencing, not something Rathborn was used to. And
Correct.
Edgy
Thank
Time
you.
says she looks more like Barbie than that gutter snake. And Scurvy says it was a lovely and reverent tribute.
Thank you.
Boomer says Kurt Russell is 1 year and 3 days older than I am. Cool.
Oh, that's cool. Snake Plissken.
I love that movie. That's one you should consider doing. I mean, it's kind of sci-fi, is it not, Pop? To do
Well,
Escape from New York,
movies. Let me remember now. There was Escape from New York, which is great, and then there was also, unfortunately, Escape from L.A., which was bad.
which was bad. I agree 100%. I love the first film. I watched the second one, and it was such a big letdown. My heart
Yeah,
sank watching
it
that.
was all those decades of us waiting for a sequel, and they gave us.
Yeah, and
That's
then
why
it
John
stopped.
Carpenter, he seemed to lose it after. I think it was during the '90s he lost his touch.
Most directors do eventually. Look at Spielberg, right? He was brilliant when he was young, and then
Yeah,
now he sucks.
right. And you know what? And I thought the same for George Miller, but no, he made the last Mad Max movie, which is pretty good. But you're right, Steven Spielberg, he used to be my favorite. And the last movie he did that was even watchable was Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. Well, it's just like Stanley Kubrick is one of my favorite all-time directors, and I loved his early stuff in the '60s and into the '70s, and you know. But the last couple films, like Full Metal Jacket and what was the one with all the sex and stuff in it? The last movie he made, I can't remember
Eyes
the.
Wide Shut. Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
That was garbage.
it
But of
was. It
course,
was crap.
right.
Yeah,
Of course, it was Tom
I couldn't
Cruise, which is
stand it.
no surprising. Yeah, Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
But I'm not. No offense to anybody out there, I just don't like Tom Cruise. But that didn't help.
I just didn't think the story was that interesting, to be honest. I just thought it was
I
like,
agree.
what? Why is he doing this movie? It's not interesting.
I know.
All right, Edgy Times has been sober all day. About to rip some Gill tribute bongs.
Oh, I
Uh-oh.
wish I could do that.
So much for
Oh,
being sober.
yeah, my lungs couldn't handle it. I wish I could drink, but I can't do that either. So it's no fun.
Boomer says I have those lights so I can get to my spaceship also.
There you go. Remember
And
where you
Dazzle
parked.
says, I agree, he was a great Zorro.
He was the
Boomer says,
best. He's my definitive Zorro. He is what the Zorro is. Christopher Reeve is to Superman for me.
Yeah, I
yeah.
agree with that.
And Boomer says networking at its finest. Daniel says I love barbecue sauce. And Boomer says I'd rather drink barbecue sauce than maple syrup.
Hey, maple syrup's not that bad, but I only put it on pancakes. I don't drink the stuff.
I don't know because it's so thick. I mean, I don't know how easy or difficult that would be to get down. Maybe easy. I don't know, but
Yeah, I
sounds.
would not. I think it'd be challenging actually because maple syrup is fairly thick. Well, it depends. You get the fake maple syrup, right? That's like just sugar and stuff, and then you got to pay like a fortune to get the real stuff, which I seldom do
Yes.
because I can't afford it. But even the fake stuff, though, if you put it on your pancakes with a nice slab of butter and let it all melt, on top, it's actually quite enjoyable. So
Yeah, I've only purchased real maple once, and that was to brine a turkey. Other than that, yeah, I usually just go for the imitation stuff.
yeah, the imitation stuff's far far cheaper for sure.
Yes.
Well, in Super Troopers, don't they use beer to wash it down?
Oh,
No,
that's
this is breakfast.
It was breakfast?
Yeah, they're having breakfast at the diner.
Oh, okay, never mind. I'm getting things mixed up.
Beer is always good to wash stuff down with. I gotta say, it's a good wash down kind of drink.
especially pizza.
Oh, I need some pizza.
No,
I
I'm
haven't had
mixing up.
pizza.
I'm mixing up the movie with real life. Since Canadian Spider-Man is here on a Cardinal Sin live stream, he did drink some maple syrup and liquor, but I forget what kind of liquor it was.
I
Oh, very.
suppose if somebody's crazy enough and creative enough, they could possibly come up with some kind of liquor or maple syrup combo. Like a liqueur kind of drink sort of scenario. But I mean, I don't think I'm going to do it, but I'm sure somebody probably will.
There is whiskey flavored or maple syrup flavored stuff. Like they got butterscotch schnapps and that green apple and all
Oh,
that.
yeah. That makes
Yeah.
sense, right? Cinnamon, all that. Yeah.
I'm not a fan of those generally, though. Actually,
All right, here we go. Baby P, give us your review on this episode. What say you?
Well, I'll give it a solid. I'm torn between giving it an A or an A plus. It's right up there. I think it's one of the more entertaining episodes of season one, which means it's probably one of the more entertaining episodes of the entire series because season one is my favorite. Um, what can you say? You got Russell and you got Michael Ansara. I mean, you got two megastars in one episode, which I don't think happened very often on Lost in Space. You got a good, solid story. It's entertaining. I love the sword battle. I love the guy Williams gets to show off some of his, skills, his training as a swordsman. Um, I just really think it's an interesting plot line where the aliens are so damned arrogant. They're basically treating our Robinson family like garbage through the episode. The sexism against the women, I found kind of totally shocking and surprising, to be honest.
Did you feel that way when you saw it as a kid?
Well, see, the thing is, I don't remember when I saw it as a kid because it's like
Gotcha.
so long ago, right? So I
Right.
didn't. The only thing I remembered, basically, when I watched it last night was Kurt Russell, with the spear, and Michael Ansara, in the bald wig. And other than that, I'd pretty much forgotten like 90% of the episode, right? So it was like watching it for the first time, which is fantastic fun, of course. Um, Also, I love Dr. Smith. We got some nice little moments, developments, little extra bits of his personality, which is fun. And of course, the robot is also developing as a character now at this point. He's getting kind of cocky and he's coming into his own as a character. He's not going to be subservient as much to Smith, I'm thinking, from now on, which is also great fun. Um, yeah, so I'd say it's a top episode. What the hell? I'm going to give it an A plus. It's a
Very
really
cool.
solid episode. It's a good one. Very good one.
Very cool. Thank you. With any updates on your channel?
I'm still working on. Oh, I don't know. Working's the right word. I've got on my 3 minutes or less playlist, which has about 700 songs on it now. So it's still private because I don't know when I'm ever going to have the hours to actually, sort the darn thing out to edit it. Because I mean, I've mentioned this before, but YouTube's editing software is garbage, right? You got to drag and drag and drag everything up. It's just so, it's like 1999 kind of software that I
Yeah,
don't
it
know why they
definitely
don't have a
encourages
different.
you to use something else.
Yeah. So anyway, not much new. I might post the occasional album once in a while. But yeah, I really haven't had much time lately to do much on the channel, so it's probably going to be a while before I get around to doing anything actually really interesting, guys. But if you want to check it out, I got tons of albums on there by all kinds of different artists. There's some, some pop, some rock, some folk. There's all kinds of stuff on there. So,
Cool.
just check it out and have fun. Oh, and some good punk rock stuff too. So, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, PvP. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome, Pop.
And I know it's late for you, Jill. So how about you next? Are you
Yeah, I have
ready?
I have been getting pretty sleepy and I got to watch some Star Trek. But yeah, so just so you know, I started off rating this episode a C minus, and I brought it up during the course of this review up to a C plus. And but I do like the line where Will says, "I'll take brains over brawn any day," and so the aliens are a little hilarious with their attitude towards women, but aside from Smith trying to get back to Earth again, there's really not really too much of an interesting plot or obstacles to overcome. This is essentially a gladiator show. It's a cute little coming of age bravery showcase for Will, but it was just okay for me. The unfortunate thing is that Will is actually brave, and while Kurt Russell's dad sees it, Quano never does. So there's no growth or development for his character. And Will he's always been brave in that way because he's a loyal and good friend. So there's not really much that was actually learned here, as far as I can see. It's also a little strange, even when it almost has me interested. Like I like that fear gauge helmet that can tell how afraid you are, and then assesses you visually assess how you react to the fear. But
Right.
they skip the entire challenge. As soon as it starts, it's over, and we skip to a montage of other challenges. And so,
Kind of like a rushed ending.
yes. And so, but also the main conflict of the episode was completely ignored, which you did mention. Quano's dad said that if Will won, he would have to kill everyone because no one could be more superior to Quano. And by that logic, since Dr. Robinson won, everyone should die because no one should be more superior than Quano's dad. So this rule, it's like it is completely ignored. It just goes away, and so do the aliens. They just like okay, bye.
All
Oh well.
right.
I thought
Bye. On the next week. Right.
the bug monster looks cool. I like that's an amalgamation of different things. Usually, my favorite part is the robot being snarky to Smith, but this takes it to a whole different level. The snark is just goes above and beyond anything I've ever seen. So, and sarcasm from a robot makes sense, and I guess I can take it as him reprogramming himself in order to be able to handle Dr. Smith and not be too much of a doormat for him, where he just like instead of just being a servant that just does whatever Dr. Smith does, now he's finally getting some pushback. So I do like that part of the episode.
Very cool. And how about your channel? Would you like to share that with us?
Sure. My name's Antiderivative Jill, and I have a channel by the same name where I celebrate science fiction. If you'd like to join me, tomorrow I'm looking at Star Trek and Star Trek Season 2 Patterns of Force. So, and then on Friday, I'm going to have my 500 subscriber stream, a celebration, which will be a bunch of fun.
Can't
What
wait.
time you
Yes.
doing that? What time you on doing the 500 sub stream, Joel?
Right. Both of these shows air at noon Central Time.
Okay.
And Jill also
So-
does some gaming streams too, a little later on at night.
Yeah, right. I don't know when I'm going to do those. Those are never really scheduled, so they just happen
A little more
whenever I can.
spontaneous.
Mm-hmm.
I will try to pop on the Friday stream, but I just wanted to let you know that I do have a medical appointment at 8:30 a.m. my time, so I should be back home by the time you start at 10 a.m. my time, but I may be late. I just wanted to let you know.
Okay, that sounds great.
But I should be able to pop on for a while, for sure.
Okay, Gorilla. What do you think about this episode? Tell us about your channel.
Well, I am actually torn here. Where you got the automatic F, where we did not get a satisfying ending there.
No, but the interaction with the robot and Dr. Smith. I mean, come on, that had to raise your up a little bit. What do you think?
Hey, can I finish? Can I finish? I did not get a satisfying ending by knowing what the aliens are, but we also got a coveted triple A plus here with the robot just snarking off and laughing at Dr. Smith there. That's the coveted A plus plus. But also, listening to the dialogue on this episode here also gives it the A plus plus there because it gives these SJWs an aneurysm.
Oh, well, that always works, I guess, right? Whatever we're able to do that to the SJW.
But in all seriousness, though, I love the robot Dr. Smith thing, but I did not get I can forgive the non-satisfying ending, you know. Yes, this was probably a very sexist thing, and they could probably had the women do a couple more things, you know, to make it like to stand up for themselves and all that, you know. But the robot there and the giving the SJWs the aneurysm, it brings this up to an A plus plus plus. You'll get one. You'll get the rare A plus plus plus.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Gorilla. And tell us about your channel. Share that with us.
Well, I got a few watch parties that come along. Justified on Wednesday nights, always a lot of fun. We got reviews of the Waltons on Friday. On sometime this weekend, it'll be either Saturday or Sunday. I'll do like a little. I'll ask the people in our stream group here, or if people got a specific day. But I'm going to be doing a cringe stock there where we'll be watching Frankenhooker there.
I'll be there for that.
Yeah. And we have Babylon 5. We're finishing up Babylon 5. Then we're going to go season 5 of Babylon 5 there. Then we're going to go on to the movies there on Saturdays. And then I think we're going to check out there's a spin-off show that we're going to check out that lasted for like a season. Then on
Okay.
Sunday, we are finishing out the Robin Williams month with Awakening.
Oh, okay.
Awakenings is the
Awakening.
title. Yeah.
Okay. And then we'll be going to for October. We'll be going to the Poltergeist movies. There,
Nice.
Oh, that'll be cool.
but
I think there was
and-
3 of them.
no 4.
Okay.
Yeah, we had just enough to cover all of October there.
Wait,
Then,
three Poltergeists and the remake, or 4 Poltergeists?
I think there's 4. There's 4 or 5.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Then on Thursday, if I have nothing going on Thursday, I might start my cheap movie nights there with some cheap movie that was really cheaply made.
And there's plenty of those to choose from.
Yeah.
Oh, Gorilla, did you get the link I sent you for the Creeping Terror?
Did you send it to me on Twitter? Because I think I did.
Yeah, I sent it on Twitter. I think I'm pretty sure it was your channel, as far as I could tell. I think it was Gorilla Random Thoughts channel. So yeah, you should have gotten it. I sent it like a week ago, and that's a pretty low budget film. I'll tell you, that's pretty much bottom of the barrel kind of stuff.
Yeah, he sent it to me. Yep.
Good stuff. Yeah, it's well, it could actually be a cringe stock one too, because it's that bad. But it's good bad, right? It's like makes you laugh your butt off bad kind of movie.
No, but I think for my first cheap movie night will be Feeders, because you can't get much more low budget than that.
Hey, just go for whatever your gut tells you, man. Just go for it.
Yeah.
Well, this one was made for $500, so
Yeah, that's pretty.
Wow.
even I could probably afford that if I actually tried.
Yeah,
Jeez.
you do a fundraiser and get that much money in a day or two.
I can't pay my rent for that kind of money, so.
Yeah, another feeling.
Oh man, go with that. That sounds like a good one.
Yeah, and I appreciate you sharing that with us, Gorilla.
Yeah, so
All right, and my opinion is I'm going to give the episode an A. I did enjoy it. I thought the cast was strong. Not only do we have the usual, the Robinson family with Dr. Smith and the robot, as everybody brought up, the personality growth in this episode of the robot I thought is amazing, and I loved it. The robot's always been my favorite character, and what he does here with Dr. Smith is, and thanks to Jonathan Harris for doing the touch-ups on the script, because like many other episodes, he saves the show, and he's always gives us something to laugh at, and the camera something to look at. Great casting with Michael and Sarah and Kurt Russell. They both represent masculinity, but not quite brains. So it would have been nice if we got a little more closure there. They would have been shown up towards the end. On A, maybe they're not as smart as they think they are. B, maybe the women are better than they think they are. And also, if they would have tied up that loose end with, did they decide not to, kill the Robinsons or destroy, as they put it, the Robinsons and any witnesses. But I did enjoy it, and it was great to see Guy Williams with a sword in his hand again, because that's pretty much what it is. We're getting like a little bit of a finishing with Zorro. And there's parallels, which reminds me, we all know who Indiana Jones was. And he was trained by an actor. Now, remember, this was the first Raiders of the Lost Ark, which was 82 or something, I think. I'm not really sure off the top of my head. But anyway, he was trained by an actor that goes way, way back to, I think, the silent era, named Lash LaRue. It was a famous actor who had a whip. And he was in like some really old movies, westerns and things like that. And when Harrison Ford was training for the very first Raiders of the Lost Ark, George Lucas hired Lash LaRue. And Harrison Ford has given him praise and thanks in many interviews since. So he actually did learn, just like Guy Williams, how to use that weapon in real life. And that way, obviously, not only so it would look real and realistic on screen, but also for safety reasons. Because if you have something like that in your hand, you could easily cause damage or harm to somebody else or yourself. So I did enjoy that. I know the episode wasn't top notch when it comes to the writing, but I enjoyed it all the same. And I know people have mentioned that they find the first season the best, but I wanted to remind everybody: please don't tune out after we cover the first season. If you're able to, please stick around as we cover the second and third. I think you'll still find a lot that you'll enjoy because the show is still entertaining and it doesn't get so bad where you can't watch it. So stick with it there if you're able to. And as far as my channel is concerned, tomorrow night is our high. So I got a new hard drive. So all my issues I've been having are in the past. I'm getting everything copied over to the new hard drive. So tomorrow night we're going to be covering on our horror sci-fi stream the fantastic movie Scanners by David Cronenberg. And then if everything goes well, Wednesday we'll be returning with Gilligan's Island reviews with 2 more episodes with the wonderful Gorillas, Random Thoughts, and myself. And Saturday I'll be returning with another Rumblings from the Lab with probably, unless I come up with a subject in the meantime or in the interim, it'll be open mic, open topic. And I will be posting another poll this week of what movies we want to watch. I'll put 4 choices in my community tab. So keep an eye out for that if you can. And we'll vote on what movies that we'll be doing next week. And we're coming up on Halloween. And for each week on Halloween, we're going to be specifically doing a horror movie. Horror, that is. And we've been showing a lot of classics lately, so the movies we cover are going to be a little more modern, 80s and so on. But I know this stream is running long, so I'm going to cut that short. But I appreciate you guys being here. Now what I'm going to do is, if you haven't already done so, please vote in the poll, which is in the chat. And if you haven't done so, please consider hitting the like button, maybe subscribe. And also subscribe to some of these people you see on the panel or our fellow friends in the chat. So I'm going to go ahead and go now to the chat, and I'm going to go ahead and close the poll and then share the results with everybody.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm going to catch up on chat real quick here.
Thank you.
Basil says 5-star rating for the panel tonight. Thanks for the fun, guys. No problem, Basil. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank you,
Yeah,
Basil.
Basil. We appreciate it. Yeah,
We
it's
do
all.
appreciate your kind
We have
words.
fun, and we hope you have fun. So yes.
Yeah, and Boomer Sayer says peanut butter on pancakes. Okay, then.
Oh, that sounds interesting, actually.
Oops, I'm about to put Spidey in timeout. I apologize for that. Here,
shit.
Kirby says peanut butter does go on about anything, Phantom. Well, Scurvy there, you gotta try a peanut butter burger. It's actually not as bad as you guys think.
Ooh. I had a pizza place where I used to live where they put peanut butter on pizza, and I wasn't going to do that.
Yeah. And Pop, you had to go and mention pizza.
I apologize for that.
And Boomer here says on hot dogs and bologna. Yeah, I've had a hot dog with chocolate chips and peanut butter. It was freaking delicious. I actually got short of it somewhere on my channel.
Yeah, I got some hot dogs in the fridge. I'm going to cook up shortly after we finish here. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I had hot dogs, but they miraculously disappeared like most of my food, but oh well, huh? Go ahead.
Oh, no.
And Spidey here
Oh
says
no.
3 buddies
Sorry.
from the machine shop I was working at in Victoria, BC, chugged fake makeable syrup in a local pub in front of everyone just after Super Troopers came out. We finished it. It was gross. I could just feel my diabetes coming on.
Yeah, I'm wondering,
Well,
did you guys like?
Yeah, it'd
Go
be
ahead,
very
Jill.
sugary. Very sugary.
Well, I was just gonna say that, and you know how actual maple syrup is supposed to taste like, so I didn't eat bad.
Yeah, I'm wondering if everybody puked because I don't think I could keep something like that down.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't drink it, I'll tell you that.
And Spidey says it was probably whiskey at Jill. Maybe maple syrup was real and from my home province of New Brunswick. Oh, you're around Jason then. Cardinal Sin was enjoying a bunch of maple products I sent him months back.
I remember you said the maple syrup was from your mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. It seems like a very recent video. He was saying he was enjoying some of your candy, maple candy.
Daniel asked, "What's up to Boomer?" Boomer says, "The sun, the moon, my credit card balance." And Phantom gives it a B. And Jim says, "Dang PvP, I'm getting back. I'm doing lives when I can find time."
I think
Sounds
you mean.
good.
Oh, I think you mean live stream. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, beep 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 beep. And hey, Jim said, "Hail, Spidey. Sorry, been doing final editing on repair video coming soon. Cool." And Spidey says, "Pop culture question for Jill or anyone else who may know. Speaking of Lost in Space, is it legal in the U.S. to serve a medium rare burger that is actually cooked medium rare?" Okay, I
Yes.
actually work in the restaurant business, so I could answer it. Most restaurants would do this. Personally, I would not do this because like if they're anything like our restaurant where we grind up like old steaks and stuff, or when they're trimming down steaks and all that, we churn it into burger meat and all that. The problem with that is with any kind of hamburger is like when you got a steak, you throw it on the grill. The reason you can have it rare and medium rare is if there's anything on that steak, it's burned off in the cooking process there. But once you put it in the hamburger, all that stuff gets ground in. They'll still serve it to you, but they'll have a little thing on the bottom of their menu saying, basically saying it's not recommended and they're not responsible for if anything happens.
Okay, that makes sense.
So it's
So
eat it at your own risk.
you're talking like salmonella kind of scenario or
Yeah,
something there?
yeah,
Yeah.
botulism, food poisoning in general. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because if it's on steaks, it gets seared off, and you're fine.
Yeah, that's the
But
thing.
once you,
You really should cook the hell out of any hamburger. I know I always do. I just cook the hell out of it.
yeah, yeah. So it's eat it at your own risk. It pretty much is because it could get bacteria from any number of places along the process.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool.
But
Well,
it's illegal.
we had a bunch of people actually die, like maybe I don't know, it was 5, 10 years ago, eating luncheon meats here in Canada. Like there was a plant that they didn't process it right, and a lot of it got contaminated with salmonella, and it got packaged and sent out to grocery stores all across the country. And I think there were like dozens and dozens, if not hundreds, of people that actually died after they ate this stuff, right? Which is pretty horrendous. So
Yeah, that's not good.
yeah. Oh, yeah. You got to be really careful about when you're eating, any kind of meat product because it could do you in for sure.
Well, you get that from your vegetables because when they go out the fields to pick it, you really think they're going to walk the mile back to the farm or back to the barn there or the farm place to go to the bathroom?
For the bathroom break, yeah, yeah, that's my thoughts too. That's why I only buy greenhouse produce because I know if it's on a greenhouse table, they're probably not taking a leak on it, right? So
Well, not exactly. They just go out. I wouldn't say they took it on it, but they're not washing their hands. And
yeah,
Spidey says that sounds fun, and good luck with that, Jim. Jim says, "Damn it, Boomer." Boomer says the federal food code allows restaurants to serve undercooked burgers as long as they have a clear written warning. Yep,
yeah,
this
that
was
sounds
a
cool.
good thing. Sean says, "Just popped back in. Sorry if it's been mentioned. I gave this a B. It was pretty fun. We got to see the tough side of Professor Robson, and the humor of B9 was great. The prototype lightsabers."
Yes.
Yeah, and Scurvy says it's legal. Some restaurants just won't. Yeah, because it's a liability thing. And Jim says it's done and uploading now. Canadian Spider-Man.
All right, nice. I'm glad you got it resolved.
Boomers. No, that was Jim. He's doing
Oh,
his
yeah. Gotcha.
repair video.
Sorry about
And
that.
Boomer says, but Boomer did get a video up. I didn't see that on YouTube there. And it said, Boomer said, even with the disclaimer, some folks will sue you. Oh, yeah, it just depends how good of a lawyer you got. And Sean is throwing some hail at Jim and Spidey. Oh, no, he's just throwing the hail at Spidey. He's saying hello to Jim.
Oh, okay.
And then Boomer says, I don't want my burgers to move when I bite them. I like my
that is
meat
true.
rare. I like a good medium rare prime rib. And Jim is throwing hail back at Sean Carter. Or beef or fish, that is, not chicken or pork, haha. Fish you do not want to eat raw.
Ooh, no. Oh, actually, it depends on who you are. My good friend Mad Scientist, he's from Portugal, where they fish and they eat a lot of fish raw. Because I asked him, doesn't that make you sick? And it's like, no.
Well, they got
There's certain
sushi.
things that will, but like they eat raw tuna and stuff.
I remember I tried sushi once, like back at art school, like 30 something years ago, and it was okay, but it's like I have no desire to ever eat it
Same
again.
here. I tried it once and it was like, no thanks.
Yeah, me too.
I won't
Once
do it
was
again.
enough. Yeah.
Hey, PvP, those are fighting words to LDG for you. Yeah. But of course,
I'm not into raw fish.
But LDG is really into gas station sushi.
Oh
That's
my
right.
God,
Ooh.
he's really testing the waters of his
Yeah,
life.
brave man.
I love sushi.
Yeah, I don't
will
think I'd
eat-
want to eat gas station anything, to be honest.
Well,
You don't
yeah,
know- you don't know
the
how long
raw-
it's been sitting
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
I love salmon, but
Limit says rare pork isn't a great idea. Well, I think they come up with a shot to treat that trichinitis or whatever it was called.
Trichinosis?
Yeah, trichinosis. I think they came up with a shot to treat that, but don't quote me on that.
Right.
I would never eat underdone pork. Once again, if I'm going to cook pork, I'm going to cook the freaking
Yeah.
hell out of it.
I've had it where it was a tiny bit pink, but it was fine.
No.
Boomer said, "Scurvy, stick with bacon. It grows on trees."
I wish.
Yeah, rare
The
pork.
pigs are wishing that was reality.
Yeah, and Edge of Time says rare pork is my only Sims handle. And Spidey says, funny story about that, Scurvy. My housemate in '94 came home one winter night and cooked thick steaks in the dark outside on the barbecue. Halfway through eating in the dark, he told me it was pork.
Ooh.
Yeah, then Daniel said Saturday for some reason. Scurvy says, CS Mine, did you get sick? They were cooked quite rare, as we always cook out steaks. Surprisingly, he did not get sick. Gunny was a funny guy like that, huh? No, but, 94, yeah, you could have gotten trichinosis there pretty badly there.
Especially
But now-
poultry. That's definitely got to be cooked all the way through. Chicken, poultry.
Yeah, it's a lot safer now than it was in '94. I'll tell you that. Peanut butter and Fritos. Thank you later,
Okay, that's
Hey,
getting weird.
Sean. That's either going to be a thank you later, or I get on a plane and smack you later. When Daniel's asking, "What's Fritos?"
Really? You don't know what
It's
Fritos are?
Corn chips.
Yeah, it's corn chips.
My favorite.
Sean, really? Daniel says,
I like a good.
"Oh, now I
Frito
remember.
pie.
Thanks for reminding me. I don't know what I forgot about Fritos.
Yeah, I haven't had corn
Fritos
chips in a
crumble
while.
up in chili carne.
Yeah,
Con carne.
that's a Frito pie.
Yeah,
Yeah, Frito pie, delicious.
Yeah, and Scurvy here, absolutely, it's heaven. Everyone I've shown them to, their eyes get wide, then they get mad at me the day later after they ate the whole day.
Yes, delicious.
Yeah. And Scurvy says, I eat sushi often. No, it's not how often you eat the sushi, it's where you get the sushi.
Not from a gas station.
Yeah, Spidey says, sushi is my favorite type of food, probably. Well, maybe LDG's trying to get the same worms that Fry got in Futurama when he ate that egg sandwich.
Oh, geez.
All right.
I remember that episode. Yeah.
Yeah, Boomer says, I don't eat any sort of fish. Well, you sick bastard. I'm
Fish is
kidding.
great if it's properly cooked.
Yeah. And Jim says, repair trailer coming out soon. Cool. Spidey says, I've eaten raw chicken in Japan. It was like chicken sashimi, and it was good.
Sashimi.
Raw
Okay.
chicken? Are you?
All right.
My lord, I can't believe raw chicken. Blech.
Boomer says, gotta get some Fritos. I like peanut butter on Neela wafer. Oh man, I'm about to just say screwed out these chats here. You guys are making me. Oh.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Boomer says I highly recommend eating more Southwest food. All right, we're all caught up.
Thank you,
Let's-
Gorilla. I
Let's
appreciate
get
that.
that trailer before they tell me to put peanut butter on like I don't even know anymore.
Right,
Pizza.
we don't want that.
Oh wait,
peanut
that's where it
butter and-
started. Never mind.
Yeah.
Peanut butter and pickle. Peanut butter and pickles is what I'm guessing next.
Yeah, I'll
No,
pass
Scurvy.
on that.
No. He says, "Give it to us, wriggling and raw." No.
Ooh, yeah, right. There's videos of people eating like octopus and squid alive, and it's like, no.
But
Okay.
that could be a reference to Gach.
Gah.
Yeah. But Boomer
We are
says,
not
Oh no,
Klingons.
it isn't. It's a reference to Lord of the Rings
Well, I still think Gah
"Yeah."
was pretty disgusting.
because
Boomer's-
because Gollum only wants to eat his fish raw.
Yeah. And Boomer says, "I worked in fish and chips, no fish for." Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, he said Gollum. All right, Pop. Let's get that. Let's
Got
get that trailer.
All right, here's we have. As you guys can see, we have the results to our poll, and it looks like we had a total of 14 votes. I want to thank you everybody for voting and for being honest. And it looks like A plus to A minus got 50% of the votes. B plus to B minus. B. It's supposed to be a B minus, 35%. C plus to C minus, 14%. And the good news is, it looks like we got no D plus to F minus, and that's good. Generally, everybody enjoyed themselves on a certain level, which I'm happy about that. I'm glad you guys did. And thank you for spending time with us tonight. And as usual, in closing here, if I don't screw this up, I'm going to show a few behind the scenes still or snapshots from this episode, and then I will be showing our preview for next week. Okay, here we go. And the window. Bear with me, guys. Here I'm like, okay, where is it? I know I've got it up here somewhere. Now, notice here, Marine is, I don't know if this is just posing for publicity or if this is a scene that was cut out, because obviously we all watched this episode and we did not see her come in and interfere with the challenge. So I thought that was kind of
strange.
Yeah, I thought that's kind of interesting. And here next we'll have. That's why I asked Jill to go back on that one frame. I wanted to see if Dr. Smith was wearing this hat. And he wasn't. So this is strictly a publicity photo behind the scenes for this episode. And it looks like it was Bill Limumi's birthday while they shot this episode.
Oh, cool.
So he turned 12. Let me pan this over a little bit here, guys. There we go.
So they were going to have birthday cake, I'm guessing, soon.
Yes, I wish we got a good close up of that cake because it looks like it has some quite ornate designs on there, whatever that was.
Yeah, it looks like a rocket ship and all kinds of weird stuff on the cake, actually.
I might be able to get a little closer here. I'll make this quicker, but I know it's late.
Oh.
That's the only thing is it's so. I'm trying to scroll over, but I got a tab, the sharing tab, which is blocking it, which does not help. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
You can hide the share. You can hide the sharing tab.
Oh, there you go. That's not too bad. There's definitely a rocket ship of some kind there, but I don't know what
Yes.
that big round circle thing is.
Oh, that's a plate in one of their hands.
Of course.
Yeah, that's definitely like a launching toy. He can take that out and just, it probably launches the little rocket.
That's really cool. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. I can't read it all, but it says happy birthday.
And here's a still that I brought up earlier from the previous year, where Kurt Russell was on the island with the castaways playing the Jungle Boy.
Wow.
And you can see he's definitely younger there than in this Lost in Space episode.
Much. Yeah.
And here's a really good behind the scenes. So this was obviously shot during the competition between the ruler and Professor Robinson. And it's interesting when you watch this show, you don't realize all the equipment, all these stage hands, and everything behind the camera. But that's quite a lot of detail, quite a lot of people. And it looks like we have Dune Lockhart is watching from behind the scenes as they shoot. Where's my arrow? There it is, my cursor.
Yeah, we often do forget, don't we, how much distraction that must go on around the actors when they're actually trying to film a scene with all the cameras, the lights, the backstage folks, the technicians. I mean, it's remarkable to me that an actor can actually focus and remember the lines they need to deliver, with all this extraneous, stuff going on around them when they're doing a scene. I just have great respect for really good actors.
Likewise, I second that. I agree too. Oops. Now I'm going to be pulling up our trailer for next week here, so that's what I'm working on now, guys. Give me just a second. I'm almost there.
Cool.
And but first, I wanted to say goodnight, everybody. Thank you, everyone in the chat, and especially my fellow panelists. I want to thank you all for helping me out tonight and for sharing your opinions of the episode, and especially Antiderivative Jill. Once again, you did a fantastic job on the stills.
Of course, it was a lot of fun. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. So with that, we're going to be closing with our preview for next week's episode, and I hope you enjoy. And like I said, get a good night's sleep and drive safe tomorrow.
I am called Quano.
My son wishes to meet yours in a series of contests. A meeting in which they pit their skills and strength against one another.
No. How do I stop this? I apologize, you guys. I showed the wrong one. I apologize for that. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry about that. I'm sitting there looking. Okay, how do I stop it? How do I stop it?
Groundhog Day. Lost.
Oh, just let it play. It's not. It's only like 20 seconds or whatever. It's no big deal. Groundhog Day. I guess you've seen that film, guys, right?
Nope.
That's a really good film. One of my favorite Bill Murray movies.
Me too.
It's a really good film.
I did a live stream with Scotty about it on Phantasmagorium.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I like Groundhog Day. It's a fun film. And it's got a little bit of serious stuff in it mixed in too. Like it's got some real heart, so it's a really good film. Yeah.
Warning everybody, it's a time travel movie, so if you're not into time travel.
It is.
I know it's not time travel, but it's a repeating day theme.
Yes, that's what it is.
It's like a time loop movie.
It's a loop, yep.
Yeah. But it's a good comedy, and there is a little bit of drama, which is nice too.
Well, I just seem to be hitting the wrong buttons. Okay, here we go. I think I have the right trailer pulled up here. All right, here we go. Hopefully this works.
He is a machine which controls the weather.
I am the trader. This machine is mine. It is for sale.
You traded the robot.
After him. Who signed this contract with me, Dr. Smith? Step aside, Smith!